All right, guys, welcome in. The color today is a dark gray, a charcoal gray. Welcome in. Welcome into the program. Real Baron Podcast. Baron Coleman here with you. Don't forget, like, subscribe, do all the things that everybody tells you to do. Click the notification, send it to your friends, do all that. This is the first time ever, ladies and gentlemen, I'm streaming on 2 platforms, and I am scared to death that it's going to screw up. So I apologize if something goes terribly awry. I'll try to keep a close eye on the comments and see if everything stays up. So no, it's not a red hoodie. It's not a green hoodie. It's not a light gray hoodie. It's a dark gray hoodie. So if you had that in the pregame chat lottery, there you go. You got a dark gray hoodie. Welcome on a wonderful Sunday. And a fresh start to the new year. This is the last kind of vacation day of the holiday season. You had all of Thanksgiving, you had all of Christmas, you had all of New Year's, and now tomorrow, almost everybody has to go back to work. And if you don't, good luck to you on another day off tomorrow. But if you're like almost everybody else, then I hope tonight gives you a little entertainment. We got a lot to cover. It's going to be a little cap and gown on the opening. I'll be honest with you. It's going to be a little cap and gown, but it is important in light of what I hear people saying over and over and over. So I'm going to get to the opening statement in a second, and I hope you guys can take what you learned tonight in the opening statement and you take it back to the people you know. You take it back out into the community. Don't hide this incredible knowledge that I'm going to give you tonight. Don't hide it. Don't hoard it. Don't sleep on it. If you hear somebody that needs to know, like if you run into a Joe in public, right? And they have to know. You hear these ridiculous things coming out of their mouth relative to what we're going to talk about in the opening statement. Feel free to educate them. Put it right back on them. Say, hey, listen, here is where we need to go. So it is a little cap and gown. There's a lot of history in it. But I promise you, as I get towards the middle end of the opening statement, you'll start to see the 2026. 2026, it's so weird to say that, but the 2026 relevance, you're going to start to see that. Someone said it's the last day of deer season. Yeah, okay. I didn't notice. Maybe after deer season ends, we could get the rest of you people in here trying to shoot pork roast with 30-06s to prove once and for all Tyler Robinson did not take a firearm to Charlie Kirk. But we'll have to wait on that. We'll get there. Well, once you guys free up from deer season, we're going to get there. But let me get right into the opening statement. I really try to use these opening statements not only to inform and entertain, but deeply educate you. Deeply educate you. I genuinely want you to be deeply educated by some of these opening statements. Now, some of them are just fun, but this one is one of those that it's not PhD level history lesson, but it is enough that you can take it back into the community and you can say, guys, stop saying what you're saying about what's going on overseas, because it's just not so. And you'll have the firepower, you'll have the ammunition, you'll have the know-how to compete in the marketplace of ideas. So let me get you up to speed on more than 150 years of American history. This is the opening statement. This is a high IQ outfit, ladies and gentlemen. James Monroe was just 18 years old in 1776 when the Declaration of Independence was signed. Born in 1758, he took the oath of office as the 5th president of the United States in 1817 at the age of 58. He followed George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and James Madison as our nation's first 4 presidents. Despite being the first American president who did not sign either the Declaration of Independence or the United States Constitution, he is widely considered the 5th and the last founding father to serve the highest office in the land. It should be noted he died on the anniversary of the Declaration of Independence being signed July 4th. In fact, 3 of the 5 founding fathers who went on to serve as president died on July 4th. Thomas Jefferson and John Adams died on exactly the same day, July 4th, 1826. James Monroe joined them in eternal rest exactly 5 years later, July 4th, 1831. Despite not having signed either of our nation's founding documents, probably on account of being too young to sign the Declaration of Independence, and for advocating against the Constitution in favor of the Articles of Confederation, his claim to being considered a founding father mostly is accepted without debate. Monroe served as an officer in the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War. He was wounded at the Battle of Trenton when he nearly died after being struck in the shoulder by a musket ball that severed an artery. He survived and recovered, earning a promotion to captain for his bravery. After the American victory in the Revolutionary War, Monroe served as a delegate to the Continental Congress. He went on to serve as governor of Virginia, Secretary of State, Secretary of War, all for the United States before being elected president, the highest office in the land. During his 2 terms in office, his foreign policy was relentless. Just 2 years after the conclusion of the horribly named War of 1812, it's horribly named because it lasted 3 years, Monroe signed treaties with England regulating British naval armaments in North America, establishing the border between the United States and Canada, and establishing a joint U.S.-British occupation of the Pacific Northwest. He signed a treaty with the Tsarist Russian Empire, who had trading posts in Alaska and as far south as modern San Francisco. The treaty cooled hostilities and it set limits on Russian sovereignty on the Pacific coast, but they had to stay above the 5440 parallel, which it's well north of the Canadian border in Western North America today. He acquired Florida from the Spanish and provided moral support to the South American and Caribbean areas seeking independence from European powers, particularly Spain and Portugal. He assured these budding republics that they would receive impartial neutrality from the United States, but that they would also receive favorable economic, trade, and diplomatic relations as they achieved independence. By 1821, Monroe, on behalf of the United States, officially recognized Argentina, Peru, Colombia, Chile, and Mexico as independent nations, separate and apart from Spain. It was during this time that he began to first formally articulate what would later become the more developed and more well-known Monroe Doctrine. The Monroe Doctrine, in its simplest terms, was that the North and South American continents should from this point forward be closed to colonialization by foreign powers. He formalized the Monroe Doctrine in his annual congressional address in 1823. It basically had 2 parts. 1, the United States would have a policy of neutrality with regard to European wars and conflicts, meaning the United States would not go into the continent of Europe. It would not invade the continent of Europe and take sides. Part 2, the United States would not tolerate European interference or colonialization in the Americas. The Monroe Doctrine, though a mighty idea, largely was unenforceable at the time. America lacked the financial or military power to enforce it. The result was that the Monroe Doctrine largely was ignored by Spain, England, and France, as well as occasionally Russia, Portugal, and the Dutch. But as U.S. economic power grew, U.S. military power grew. And as the U.S. military power grew, so too did the appetite to evict European powers from North and South America. By the early 1900s, President Teddy Roosevelt formalized the enforcement mechanism that the Monroe Doctrine didn't have. And it frankly couldn't have enforced it anyway, even if it did. He proclaimed the Roosevelt corollary to the Monroe Doctrine, stating that the U.S. could intervene in the internal affairs of North and South American countries to prevent European intervention. In other words, the United States preferred to let North and South American countries handle their own business, but the U.S. would handle their business for them if European powers got involved. The U.S. nearly immediately began exercising the Roosevelt corollary, getting involved in Cuba, Nicaragua, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. In 1934, Teddy Roosevelt's cousin, President Franklin Roosevelt, abandoned the Roosevelt corollary in favor of what he called the good neighbor policy. The good neighbor policy basically reverted American policy back to the unenforceable wish that European powers stayed out of the New World. But the good neighbor policy ended almost as soon as it began. The Cold War ramped up after World War II, and the American military-industrial complex went into overdrive to keep the Soviets and their interests out of North and South America. The U.S. had no formal policy of intervention, but it didn't stop the Americans from getting involved in overthrowing Guatemala's president in a CIA-backed coup in 1954, the disastrous and unsuccessful CIA-backed Bay of Pigs failure in Cuba in 1961, the American-backed coup in Brazil in 1964, the American occupation of the Dominican Republic in 1965 and 1966, the CIA subversion of the Chilean presidency in the early 70s that culminated in the American-backed coup of 1973, the American invasion of Grenada in 1983, CIA operations in Nicaragua during nearly the entirety of the 1980s. Those are just the ones that made my short list. There were more. The chaos mostly settled down on the Western Hemisphere for the next 20 to 30 years. The Soviet Union fell, European powers abandoned colonialism pretty much everywhere, and powers like China and India had not yet established themselves enough to begin their own colonial efforts around the globe. What efforts they did try were mostly limited to Asia and Africa, not North and South America. This remained mostly the state of affairs from the early 90s until this weekend. Most of the world woke up yesterday to the news the Trump administration had taken custody of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro and his wife. We saw pictures of Maduro in, for some reason, 5 different outfits in American custody on his way from Caracas to presumably New York, where he's been indicted by the Southern District of New York, the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. In December, the Trump administration updated the national security strategy, adding something called a Trump corollary to the Monroe Doctrine. The Trump corollary is defined in the national security strategy in one single sentence. We, the United States of America, will deny non-hemispheric competitors the ability to position forces or other threatening capabilities or to own or control strategically vital assets in our hemisphere. That's pretty much it. The strategy adds a couple of ways the United States will accomplish this corollary. They call it enlist and expand. Enlist established friends in the hemisphere and expand by cultivating and strengthening new partners. If you're wondering where it's outlined that American policy going forward will be indicting heads of state, bombing their capitals, and sending the American military in the middle of the night to take them to New York to face criminal indictment, I couldn't find it in the national security strategy. In fact, I couldn't find anything remotely similar. But this hasn't stopped the bots and shills on social media from declaring the military operation in Venezuela over the weekend the Trump corollary in action. To the contrary, it decidedly is not the Trump corollary. At least it's not the Trump corollary as the Trump corollary is defined in the national security strategy. Remember, the national security strategy defined it as enlist and expand. Enlist established friends in the region to expand American influence by cultivating and strengthening new partners. Nothing about bombing, nothing about capturing, nothing about taking control of other countries. And that's exactly where we are today. In the last 48 hours, the United States of America captured a foreign head of state and took over his country. I don't say any of this to defend Maduro. I don't say any of this because I think Maduro's a good guy or a good leader. I don't want communist dictators impoverishing countries and making political prisoners out of his citizens. But this isn't, to me, about Venezuela, not at all. At least my concern about what happened this weekend isn't about Venezuela. It's about America. It's about who we are. And it's about how we'll conduct foreign policy going forward. There's no doctrine I can find anywhere, whether defined by Trump or some other American law, that outlines when and under what circumstances American presidents, including future American presidents that we may not like, when may they capture heads of state in the Western Hemisphere or really anywhere, bomb their capitals and take over their countries. This isn't even to say that some countries wouldn't be better off if we started doing this more often. That's probably debatable. In fact, it's probably beyond debate that some would be better off. But that's not a live issue in the discussion tonight. That's not what we're talking about. Oh, I left my water in the other room. This is going to be a disaster. In the absence of a formal policy or some law that outlines the limits to these types of military actions on foreign heads of state, where do we draw the line? Who might be next? And on what terms? And how can leaders avoid it happening to them? Again, it doesn't matter whether the military action capturing the foreign head of state is good or bad in the short term or long term. It doesn't matter whether the lives of the citizens of that country will be better or worse. It's not about that. So I'm not amused. I'm not swayed by images of Venezuelans celebrating. I'm not moved or swayed by you telling me they're going to be better off. This is about defining when and on what terms we will do this again in the future. It's important for foreign heads of state to know the terms on which they can exist in a world dominated by American hegemony. But that's actually a smaller concern to me. The far larger concern is the consent of the governed right here at home. The United States federal government, at least in theory, is by, from, and for the American people. It exists because we, the people, want it to exist. And if the elected American military is going to be in the business of capturing foreign heads of state in the middle of the night, bombing their capitals, and absconding back to America with foreign heads of state in tow, then we, the people, need to consent to it. We aren't a pure democracy, so I'm not suggesting that we put it to a vote each time. But we absolutely should have some legal framework in place for when and under what circumstances it can or will happen. So we'll take a look tonight at some of the fallout from the operation that captured Maduro in Venezuela. We'll also take another look at Fort Huachuca. Candace Owens put a picture up this weekend on X, and it's of the interstate exit to Fort Huachuca. It raises the obvious question. What other pictures might be coming soon? And do these pictures have anything to do with what appears to be Erica Kirk no longer hustling to establish an alibi? I also want to confirm part of a story that's been up in the air to date, and I can do that first and get it out of the way. I don't want to say, where is that? I'm going to have to search around to find it on one of these screens somewhere, but I don't want to say we were able to confirm an alibi, because that's not true. We have not been able to confirm an alibi, but what we have been able to do, where is it? Oh, here it is. What we have been able to do is establish that one of the people who has yet to provide an alibi has confirmed a loose end that's been waving in the breeze. So let me get to that first. I want to clean up a story about the generals and the domestic terrorist organizations. Today's a big show. It could go long. That's why I had two waters, and I don't know where either of them are. I heard somebody hit the door, so they may have been listening in the other room and tried to bring me water. We'll make it happen. We'll get there. And then we will get to Fort Huachuca, and we will get back to Venezuela. This is a big, big day, a big show to kick off 2026. But let me get this up and running first. I want to get this confirmation out of the way because I truly did not know the answer to this. And the way this was able to be confirmed was bananas. And I can't tell you about the operation. I can't tell you how it happened. But I can tell you it happened. So we have two flights here. There are two flights here. These are allegedly flights booked by Brian Harpole. And he has he released these. So this isn't doxing him. But it has some booking information, it has some flight information, it has some ticket numbers and all this. So that's flight one. That is September 7th into the morning of September 8th. Remember, he was alleged, Mitch Snow alleged he thinks he might have seen Brian Harpole on the morning of the 9th. So this ticket, even if we're able to confirm it, doesn't really affect whether or not he was there on the morning of September 9th, but we will look at it because this ticket has been confirmed to have been used, and my understanding is the only way the ticket could be used is if it was used by Brian Harpole. Otherwise, they would cancel it and issue a new ticket in someone else's name. So this ticket, September 7th, 11:59 p.m. into the morning of September 8th at 4:57 a.m. was used presumably by Brian Harpole. Now we're going to look at this ticket because this ticket was far more relevant. This ticket was far more relevant. It had a question mark on it whether or not this ticket had been used. Why? Because this ticket this plane supposedly took off at 1:42 p.m. At least it was scheduled to take off at 1:42. I confirmed it did not leave the gate until 1:48 p.m. Whatever difference 6 minutes makes. But at 1:48 p.m., this plane left on September 9th, the same day he supposedly was seen. Brian Harpole was seen by Mitch Snow about 7:30 in the morning in Fort Huachuca. Now, that's a 2-hour time difference. So this 1:42 here that you see right here on the ticket, see if we can get you there. That 1:42 right there, that would be 11:42 Fort Huachuca time. So you start doing a little math and you think, well, he's got to get to the airport. He's got to fly to Dallas. He's got to get off the plane. He's got to transfer to this gate. He's got to get onto this plane. He's got to fly from this plane to Salt Lake City, presumably. Be there by 3:30 in the afternoon. This flight has also been confirmed to have been used. I cannot tell you how it happened. We have a listener to this program named Daisy. Daisy sent me a video that she uploaded, I think, to YouTube. I think it was set to private, so don't go looking for it. It was bananas how she was able to confirm the flight. I can't explain it. I can't tell you, but she was able to confirm it, and it was a masterful deal. It was absolutely devastating. It made me rethink everything I knew about humanity. It was like watching one of those, what they call it with the Berenstain Bears, Mandela effect. It was like watching a Mandela effect in real time. It was that terrifying. But anyway, Daisy did some great work, and then she had to clock out because she couldn't continue working anymore. She's very busy, very, very busy. But this flight actually was used, presumably, again, by Brian Harpole. So what that does is it doesn't confirm that Brian Harpole wasn't there at Fort Huachuca at 7 a.m. That does not confirm that. Because there are flights, for example, from Tucson that made it to DFW. So he could have flown on a flight from Tucson into DFW. And then he could have gotten on the plane. You know, he wouldn't even have to leave the same gate, presumably. But it does confirm that when he sent out the email confirmations that he wasn't being disruptive, or he wasn't disruptive, is not the right, dishonest. It does confirm he wasn't being dishonest. He was representing himself as having been on those planes, and he was on those planes. But what he has not done is the same thing Erica Kirk has not done. They have not told anyone that they were, like, definitively, I was not on that plane. They have not said, I was not on that plane. Well, I would love to see them say, I was not on that plane. Why? Because we got this over the weekend. We've got, where is it here? Gosh, I gotta get this stuff in better order. All right, here. We got this over the weekend from real Candace Owens, saying that she's going to be back on the air tomorrow. And she dropped this little bomb. A picture from Fort Huachuca. Now, people have speculated, was this taken this weekend? Was this taken back in September? I have my opinion. Now, someone in the comments said they weren't at Fort Huachuca. I have not seen a definitive denial. I saw Cabot Phillips give a definitive denial. But with everybody else, what I see them saying is, I was here. I was with Charlie making dinner. I was with Charlie at Fox News. I've not yet seen, what are you talking about, Candace? You're absolutely out of your mind. I 100% wasn't there. I've not seen that. Now, I did see it from Cabot Phillips. He said, I was not at Fort Huachuca on September 8th or 9th. I have never been there. What an unbelievable, oh, I got something here for you. I can't show you anything, but I'm going to talk to you about something here. You're going to love this. Let's say, for example, in addition to this photo, let's say there's a photo, and when you look in the background, you see a woman. I'm just guessing. I'm just describing. We're just fantasizing together. Let's say you look in the background and you see a woman, and you notice she's got kind of a white undershirt on. And you see there's a blue vest. And you look closely, and there's a little necklace there. And this person's wearing blue jeans. And you can establish through the metadata what time this picture was taken and where it was taken. And then you notice that it's not just a woman in a white undershirt and a blue vest and a cross necklace and plaid shirt and blue jeans. No. It's not just that. But there's also a gentleman in some kind of dress boots. And maybe that gentleman has on jeans. And maybe that gentleman's got a long sleeve, dark colored shirt on, and there's a very distinctive watch on that person. And maybe the woman has her hair pulled up, and maybe she's got striking eyes. I don't suggest that I know, but I'm saying if you had a suspicion, if a picture like that was floating around somewhere and you didn't notice it, and you didn't know whether a picture like that was floating around, you might be scared to say, I wasn't there. You might shut down and stop trying to offer alibis. You might. It might concern you if you continue down the alibi road. That might bother you if you thought that. Again, go back to what you would need to do in order to say you weren't there. You would need to know for a fact nobody even knew you were there. Because if somebody knew you were there, it wouldn't be hard to go back and look at photography to determine if you were there. There could be people taking photos of other things, and you happen to be in the background. There can be people taking, CCTV footage of a hotel lobby or a parking lot. And if nobody knows you were there, you don't go. No one goes looking for it. But if there's a question and they say, well, who was that there? We've already established Mitch Snow was there. Was anyone else there? So now we can go look through the camera footage. We can ask people who were there at the hotel. We can talk to people and ask them, what photos do you have available from that day? So all I'm saying is I am very eager to see the follow-up to this tweet. I'm very eager to see the follow-up to this tweet because here I am. I'm like you guys. I'm just looking around saying, okay, here, Candace put a tweet up. Operation Delegitimize Mitch seems to have backfired, and it has. It's backfired spectacularly. They moved the goalpost from Mitch wasn't even in the military, much less was he on the base, to, okay, we'll admit he was on the military, but we don't think he was at the base, to, okay, we admit he was in the military, we admit he was on the base, but I was buying balloons at Publix. I had muffins. I was in the Publix line off Charlotte, and I had muffins. That's how far we've had to move the goalpost in order to keep any semblance of an alibi alive. So, if Candace is excited for Monday, hope you guys are as excited for Monday's episode. If she's excited about Monday and she's posting pictures of the interstate exit to Fort Huachuca, then I'm excited about Monday. I'm excited about Monday. I'm curious. Who are these people allegedly, potentially, maybe in the background of some of these pictures? Who are these people? I don't know. I don't even know that these things actually exist. We'll all find out together, won't we? We'll all find out together. All right. So, is that? Yeah, I've got one more video, but I think I'm going to take that out of order. Because now I want to get to what has become, I think, probably the biggest story in the world. Obviously, the last couple of days. This is. It's not that Charlie Kirk no longer matters. It's not that that the death of Charlie Kirk no longer means anything. But other things happen in the world, and other things need to be covered from time to time because sometimes they matter. And I would suggest an operation like what happened over the weekend. If Charlie Kirk was still alive, he would have been pushing back on. This is the type of operation where I think Charlie Kirk would go to the president and say, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this? But let me go through real quickly my take on the Venezuela deal, because I think I sort of fall in the middle here. I understand, I don't love, and I want to establish parameters, but I want to give you why I think it happened first. Here's why I think it happened. First, this was not a hostile operation. This was not at all a hostile operation. Nobody went to Venezuela and said, all right, we're going to have to shoot it out. We're going to do a ground invasion. We got to put the fourth ID in. We're going to have to, parachute the 101st in. Everybody's got to get. It was not that type of situation. It lasted about 3 minutes, I think. Maybe 5. Was it cool? I mean, frankly, from growing up as an American and remembering back when the Soviet Union was our big foe and remembering the Gulf War and the first kind of high-tech war where we were watching footage of missiles coming in, was it kind of cool as an American to know that your country, if they want to, can go take over another country in 5 minutes? I mean, after, frankly, what happened in Afghanistan and Iraq, yeah, I mean, it was kind of nice. I mean, it's nice to know that you can't just be beaten up and pushed around by a bunch of guys living in caves. Like, at least those days are over, I think, because it seems to me that this was more of just an agreed handover. And, Maduro's a proud man and didn't want to just fly to New York and turn himself in. He didn't want to go full Tyler Robinson, jump in the car with the neighbor sheriff and drive to the station saying, I'm here. So there was a little bit of that, but almost immediately there were like 4 different angles that came out of this. Almost immediately, people started attacking this from 4 different perspectives. Number one was that this was a pure Israel play, that this was the United States once again doing the bidding of Israel in preparation, probably for an Israeli attack on Iran. Mike Huckabee came out almost immediately saying this is great for Israel. There was a guy on one of the Sunday shows who was trying to say this is great for the people of Venezuela, and he said it was great for the people of Israel. So, right out of the box, they're not doing well, hiding the ball here. A member of the Rothschild family publicly praises Trump. You've got a woman who seems to be the handpicked leader, the handpicked successor. Her name is Maria Machado. She loves Israel. She loves Benjamin Netanyahu. Maduro, for his many faults, was a very big critic of Israel. And probably more importantly, this was one of the final countries in the world without a central bank that was set up on the global central banking system. And so you have this sort of this Israeli angle to it that a lot of people immediately jumped on. This was just about Israel. I looked at that and thought, I don't know about all that. I understand what you're saying, and I do think there was probably an Israeli component to it. Like, I don't think they were disappointed that Trump decided to do this, and it doesn't strike me as odd that it happened the day Benjamin Netanyahu was leaving after being here for a few days. Like, that doesn't shock me. But I'm not sure it was solely that. So then there were people who said it has nothing to do with Israel, that you guys that are saying that, you just hate Israel, you hate Jewish people, you hate... I'm not sure it doesn't. I'm not sure there's no play for Israel here. But they were saying, hey, this is just a pure mineral play. I mean, Glenn Beck took this approach. This was just a pure mineral play. This was about oil. This was about gold. This was about silver. Particularly the silver market's absolutely tanking right now, or at risk of destroying the world's economy, frankly. But the silver market's out of control. We have banks that have shorted tons of more silver than exists mined on the earth. And just so happens that Venezuela sits on tremendous silver supplies. And then you have rare earth elements. And we've seen the lengths the new world will go to control and get their hands on rare earth minerals, rare earth elements. So you had this sort of, this first group came out and said, just Israel. It's just a pure Israeli play. Then you have this second group that comes out and says, no, it has nothing to do with Israel. This is a pure mineral play. This is good for the United States. This is good for the Western Hemisphere. This is bad for Iran. This is bad for Russia. And this is bad for China. Therefore, we should be in favor of it. I looked at that and I thought, no, I don't buy that either. Then you had people saying, hey, this appears to be some kind of a combo play. What you have here is an Israel component, but you also have a mineral component. And this is going to take a second to go through, and you're going to have to understand a little bit about how Venezuelan oil is structured. So give me just a minute to set this up, because on November 25th of this year, there was a federal judge in Delaware who approved a company called Amber Energy acquiring a company called PDV Holdings. Most of you have never heard of PDV Holdings. I'll show you a flow chart in a second that says that lets you know why this is an important component of this story. PDV Holdings is the parent company of Citgo. The sale is expected to close in 2026. So let me show you this flow chart to kind of give you an idea before I set up the rest of this discussion. This is off the Citgo website. Yes, Citgo, the Citgo you guys go to from time to time to get your gasoline, right? You look down the road and, Chevron is $2.39 and Texaco's $2.49. But lo and behold, I can go to Citgo for $2.19. So you roll on into Citgo, you have no idea who you're buying gasoline from. But this is on the Citgo website. It says, we take seriously our responsibility to Citgo's ultimate shareholder, the Venezuelan nation. That means safeguarding Citgo assets and operating the company safely, efficiently, and profitably for Venezuela's future. Now, if Venezuela before I get to the rest of this, I want to pause. If Venezuela truly is what we've been told over the last 48 hours, like the worst country in the world, we absolutely had to show up and take them down. We could not allow Venezuela to even exist anymore. That this Maduro guy is one of the worst human beings that ever lived. He's impoverishing his people. Why are we allowing the Venezuelan state oil company to run very profitable gasoline purchasing and processing here in the United States? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Would we allow China to own that much critical infrastructure? Iran to own that much critical infrastructure? Russia to own that much critical infrastructure? If the answer to any of those questions is no, then Venezuela is not as big a threat to them as they are. And we're not invading them. We didn't take Xi overnight. We didn't arrest him. We didn't fly him back to New York. We didn't go grab Putin. So what is it about Venezuela? So let's go back to the flow chart here. This is very important to understanding, I think, what's really happening. Citgo is the indirect subsidiary of PDV Holding. So here's what you have. You have the Venezuelan entity. This is the PDVSA. This is owned by the people of Venezuela. This is a state-owned company. This would be like, what's a state-owned American company? The VA, right? The VA, Medicare, a state-owned entity. It owns 100% of PDV Holdings. This is this company we were just talking about that just got sold, or a judge just approved the sale of it, all of its assets, in November. And the sale will close here in the next couple of months. So this PDV Holdings is owned entirely by the people of Venezuela. That PDV Holdings owns Citgo Holdings, which owns Citgo. So when you do business with Citgo, 100% of Citgo is owned by this company, 100% of that is owned by this company, and 100% of that is owned by Venezuela. So you roll in to fill her up, some mid-grade unleaded, please. You roll in there, and what you're doing is you're just putting money in the pockets of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro. But we're told he's a bad guy. He shouldn't even be allowed to be walking around. He's funding drug cartels. He's doing this. Guys, obviously they're full of crap, because if he was so bad, if it was truly the problem that everybody seems to say it is, why on earth are we allowing them to have critical infrastructure? What do they own? Oil refineries on the Gulf Coast, in Chicago, on the Atlantic Ocean, on the Atlantic side. They own oil refineries. They own gasoline stations. They own the fuel that goes from the refineries into the ground, the fuel you pump out of the ground and into your car. So I look at this and I say, okay, if they're just stating it right on their website that they're doing this for the Venezuelan government, and we allow it to happen, then it can't be exactly what we're told. So what is it? What is it? What is the absolute urgency? Well, what's happening with the Venezuelan oil company? Because we just learned that PDV Holdings is being sold to Amber Energy. It's going to take PDV Holdings, and PDV Holdings is all of Citgo, and it's going to remove the money flow from the American people to Venezuela. Instead, it's going to go to this other place, Amber Energy. Well, who owns Amber Energy? Amber Energy is owned by Elliott Investment Management. Elliott Investment Management is an American investment management firm. It's a hedge fund. It is owned by, or the founder of this was a guy named Paul Singer. He's right here. See this over here? Paul Singer on the right-hand side, about the fourth row down. He is the founder of Elliott Investments, which owns Amber Energy, which is now going to own all of Citgo. What do we know about Paul Singer? And this is where it gets a little interesting, because this is ultimately who is the beneficiary of what's happening down there. Not the American people, not the Venezuelan people, Paul Singer. Because the money that was flowing to the Venezuelan government is now flowing to this guy. Who is this guy? This guy is the founder, president, and co-CEO of Elliott Management. He's worth about $7 billion. In 2016, he opposed Donald Trump. He donated to Marco Rubio, our current Secretary of State. He gave him 7 figures. After Trump won over the objection of Paul Singer and his millions of dollars, he did come in and give Trump, I think, $1 million towards his inaugural fund, almost like a, oops, I'm sorry I opposed you. Well, in 2020, when Trump was running for re-election, there was no donation coming from Paul Singer. Why? Because in the intermediate time, we learned that Paul Singer had funded the operation where Hillary Clinton produced, allegedly, in my opinion, it appears he may have funded the operation with the PP dossier. You remember the Russian PP dossier, where they said Russian hookers were peeing on our current president? You remember this? Apparently, this guy funded a great portion of that research on behalf of the Hillary Clinton campaign. So there was no love lost between the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and this gentleman here. Not in 2020. There was no donation that I could find. In 2024, after the funding of the PP dossier was public, and it looked like Donald Trump was going to win again, or he might win again, Paul Singer hedged. He's a hedge fund, after all. He hedged his bet and gave Trump $5 million. Now, if you got $7 billion, $5 million is like couch money, but it's still a lot of money. I would take it. I would do well with $5 million, Mr. Singer. But this isn't even the best part. This doesn't tell much about who he is or any of that. What we have to do instead, we've got to scroll down here and think, now, why on earth is this guy all of the sudden one of the main people in buying up this Venezuelan thing? Well, Paul Singer and his family are behind the Philos Project. This is a pro-Israel Christian organization. In 2016, he partnered with the Museum of the Bible to fund Passages Israel. This is a program that takes college students to Israel. I guess they wear hats, kiss walls. He's a longtime supporter of hawkish pro-Israel causes, a major funder of the conservative think tank, Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. After the synagogue shooting in 2018, he announced he would donate $1 million to upgrade security at Jewish institutions. The funds would be given to the United Jewish Appeal, the Federation of New York. So, when you start looking at this and you say, well, what is this guy really like? Like, that's just on the CIA approved Wikipedia page. What is he really like? Well, let's dig in and find what we can find about Paul Singer. So let me just share the window, and I can click tab to tab here It'll give you an idea of who this guy really is, who now controls all of the wealth that used to flow to Venezuela. How neocon billionaire Paul Singer is driving the outsourcing of U.S. tech jobs to Israel. That's this guy. You remember him? That was him just a second ago. It's the hedge fund, Elliott Global or whatever it was called. This is a Whitney Webb piece. You guys love Whitney Webb in this audience. How neocon billionaire Paul Singer is driving the outsourcing of U.S. tech jobs to Israel. What about this one? Billionaire Paul Singer set up Tech Research Institute in Israel. What about this one? Hedge fund manager and right-wing donor Paul Singer is financing an Israeli influence op, masquerading as a journalism project. In other words, he's trying to get you to be brainwashed on things that he wants politically accomplished around the world. What about this one on Project Nemesis, integrating Israeli intelligentsia and military into U.S. tech? This is a Paul Singer related story. He has founded the nonprofit Startup Nation. Oh, that's terrible. An NGO claiming it seeks to promote collaboration between Israel's tech sector and outside investors. He pledged around $20 million, which is based to the organization based in Tel Aviv. Stated he started the project in response to the global BDS movement by promoting investment in Israel. According to Netanyahu, such projects should incorporate an Israeli military and intelligence unit with local partners and foreign partners to make it all but impossible for major corporations and foreign governments to boycott Israel and military and intelligence unit. And finally, why Israel is pushing for regime change in Venezuela through Washington. Notice the date of this. This is December 13th, 2025. So this was about 2 weeks after the judge approved the sale of substantially all of the assets that went to the Venezuelan oil company to that guy. And that's what he planned. That's how he funds and organizes his businesses and nonprofit ventures. Now, you look at that and you say, okay, there's a combo here. It's not all Israel, but it's not a pure mineral play either. There seems to be some sort of combination pro-Israeli, pro-mineral play in taking over Venezuela. Now, I would ask you, does that justify it? You know, hey, if we're going to get rich out of this, does that justify it? I would argue if this guy's in charge of Citgo, the odds your life improves is very small. The odds the lives of Israeli improves is probably very high. It doesn't sound like his interests are primarily American when he enters business arrangements. It sounds like he has another entity, another outside country that he actually prefers. He wants to take tech jobs here in the United States that pay very well, and he wants to send them overseas. That was the article we showed a minute ago. That's not my opinion. That's someone else's opinion. I'm just reporting what's out there. So I think the idea that we think we're going to benefit from all this gold and all this silver and all this oil that's in the ground over there might be a little mistaken. So let me give you my preferred explanation of what happened. And I stole some of this off a guy on Twitter. Let me see if I can find his name. His name's Ricardo, R-I-C-R-T-P. But his is long and windy, and I've kind of summarized it a little bit. But it's my preferred explanation for what happened. Here's what I think happened. If you go back in time, back to the end of World War II, there was an agreement that propped up the United States dollar. It was called Bretton Woods. And Bretton Woods was essentially pegged the price of gold to the U.S. dollar. And it allowed people who wanted some safety and security, and they were worried about maybe Argentinian currency, or they were worried about Brazilian currency, or they were worried about Mexican currency. They were able to go buy U.S. dollars, and there was a stability to it. Well, over the course of time, it only lasted about 30 years, from 1944 to 1973, the dollar collapsed anyway. We still, even though it was supposed to be pegged to the gold, then all of a sudden we said, okay, you're not allowed to buy gold. You're not allowed to hold gold, meaning you couldn't, even though in theory you could give your dollar over and get gold, we made it illegal to hold gold, so you really couldn't do it anyway. And this Bretton Woods agreement that pegged the US dollar to the price of gold, it collapsed in the mid 1970s, and we went off the gold standard, early 1970s. And so the dollar initially began spiraling out of control. And Henry Kissinger had a great idea. Let's go back. Instead of backing it by gold, let's back it by oil. But instead of backing it, like pegging it to the price of oil, let's peg it to the trade of oil. And that will give you a perpetual demand for the dollar so that we can then print money and we won't lose our base. We'll be able to print it at a very low interest rate because everyone's going to have to bring their currency to US dollars, transfer it to US dollars, buy US dollars in order to buy oil. So Henry Kissinger goes to Saudi Arabia and he cuts this deal. It establishes what becomes known as the petrodollar. The petrodollar for the last 50 years has propped up the US dollar. It has created an artificial demand for the US dollar. We like to say, oh, everybody wants US dollars because the United States is so secure. It doesn't matter that we have $40 trillion in debt. It doesn't matter any of this. We're going to, people have faith in us anyway. So it's artificially propped up the US dollar. And it's probably my favorite reason for thinking of why America finally decided they had to remove Maduro and take over Venezuela. Venezuela has more oil than anyone else on earth. They got like 1 in 5 barrels on earth is under the ground in Venezuela. 1 in 5. They've got like 800 years of oil at their current production. You and I aren't going to live long enough. Our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, our great to the 5th grandchildren, our great to the 10th grandchildren aren't going to live long enough to see Venezuela run out of oil. But the problem is they were building direct payment channels to China. And they were bypassing the purchase of American currency. They were selling oil in yuan or whatever it is they have over there. And if they could convince other people to go along with their plan, the de-dollarization would be catastrophic. We already forced Moscow to de-dollarify. I'll use that word. We forced them to get off of the dollar because we told them you can't trade in US dollars. And we thought that would hamstring them. Well, no, they just found people that would take their money. Or they found some other medium of exchange that they could use. But the entire system was basically, hey, we are the United States. We have the world's biggest military. We have the world's biggest economy. We will come around the regions that you're in and we will establish some system of stability. And when we do that, in exchange for that, you have to buy our petrodollars. You have to buy our dollars to trade in oil. The problem is, over the last 50 years, we've burnt out people on American influence. We've burnt them out. They no longer trust us. Because since the petrodollar, we've seen Islamic terrorism skyrocket. We've seen the Saudi Arabian government that gave us the petrodollar, that agreed to sell solely in petrodollars. We watched them set the world on fire through Islamic terrorism, and I don't think it was all their doing. I think the United States government was in on a lot of that. Steve, for example, 11,9. So we've been causing problems that are outweighing the stability we can provide. But if everyone has to convert to dollars, then we can essentially print dollars forever. And so our entire deficit spending economy has been supported by petrodollars. Now there have been people in the past who have tried to get off the United States dollar. For example, Saddam Hussein in 2000 says that Iraq will sell oil in euros, not dollars. He was out of office and dead in 3 years. By 2003, he was dead. In 2009, Muammar Gaddafi proposed a gold-backed African currency called the gold dinar. In other words, let's pool our African currencies. Let's diversify out of the risk of having one currency by one. We will gold back it, much like Bretton Woods did for the American dollar, and we'll take over the trade of oil because we have Nigeria, we have Libya, we have Sudan, we have some rich oil producing markets, and we will trade only on this gold dinar. When Hillary Clinton's emails got leaked, you remember Seth Rich dying? When Hillary Clinton's emails got leaked, we learned this was the primary reason that the United States took over Libya and killed Muammar Gaddafi. It was this, getting off the U.S. dollar. Here was the quote from her email. The gold was intended to establish a pan-African currency based on the Libyan golden dinar. That was too much. He had to go. 2 years later, he's dead. She laughed and said, we came, we saw, he died. And now you have Nicolas Maduro. A few years ago, he starts selling oil in something other than dollars, and now he is in American custody, and Marco Rubio is essentially the president, for now, it seems like, in total control of Venezuela. So this is what happens when the U.S. feels like they're going to lose their control over the United States dollar. We have to go in and invade people. Well, the question is, how long does this last? How long can we continue to do this? Because now we've alienated so many people because, yeah, it's easy to pick off Venezuela. Yeah, it was easy to pick off Iraq. Yeah, it was easy to pick off Libya. Yeah, it was easy to shut down Moscow. But what we just did was we created like 4 or 5 countries that now despise us. We've created an entire region that now despises us. And I don't think for a second, as you look out at the global landscape, I don't think for a second Venezuela is the end of this strategy for propping up the U.S. dollar. I've been hinting that I want to do a Bitcoin show. If you guys think Bitcoin's the way out of this, you're out of your mind. You don't know where it came from. It didn't start in the United States. It might have been finished in the United States, but it didn't start here. And so you have to understand why a guy like Charlie Kirk had to go. There's a connection here to what happened in Venezuela, what's been happening with the United States petrodollar, what's been happening in Israel, and why Charlie Kirk had to go. It wasn't because Tyler Robinson had enough. That's not what it is. It's not because Lance Twiggs had enough and poisoned Tyler Robinson. That's not it either. It has a lot to do with the fact that Charlie felt like, and his destination might have already been known when he showed up to complain about the Iran bombing. I think he might have already been on the way out. He just didn't know it yet. Remember Sean Penn movie, Dead Man Walking? A great movie. Sean Penn's a great actor. He might be a CIA stooge, but he's a great actor. Funny story. I'm not going to tell the story, actually. I ran into Sean Penn in Washington, D.C. one time, and I can't tell you where or why. But he's a total stooge. Don't trust anything that guy says. But he's in, where was I on my story? I was moving somewhere. I was going somewhere. Oh, Charlie Kirk. He feels like he can go sit in the Oval Office and complain about this global stuff. Do you think Donald Trump or Benjamin Netanyahu respected him at all, weighing in on behalf of a bunch of college kids on what should happen to the global petrodollar? Do you really think that they were amused by his chutzpah? I'll borrow the phrase. Do you really think that he was that Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu said, we ought to really consider, we were talking about bombing Mr. Trump. This is Netanyahu talking. Yeah, Mr. Trump, we were talking about bombing Iran and stopping their nuclear ambitions, but there's a guy who talks to college kids and he doesn't think we should do it. We probably ought not to. We ought to really deeply consider what he thinks. No, they hated him. They can say all day long, oh, he was like another son to Trump. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. The moment he went in there and said, I don't think you should bomb Iran, he was no longer a son to Trump, if he even was before then. He was a tool. Not in a negative way. I'm not calling him a tool. He was a tool to them. You will whip support. He was like a whip in a legislative body. The minority whip or the majority whip. They're supposed to go out there and count votes and make sure people stay in line. I don't care what you think about House Bill 112. You're a Republican. You're going to vote in favor of it. We voted for it in the caucus. We voted in the caucus to support it. You're going to support it. You better get in line. That's the job of the whip. Charlie Kirk was the whip. But the moment he turned around and started trying to be the speaker, all of a sudden they were like, no, get back to whipping. And if you won't get back to whipping, If you won't support the company line, we'll just take you out. Now, in an election, you can just vote someone out. Can't do that in an organization that he controls. You got to get support to remove him. And if you can't, you've got to remove him yourself. And that doesn't take a board vote to remove him. That's not how you remove somebody from an organization like that. So that's honestly what I think happened to Venezuela and to Charlie Kirk. To Venezuela and to Charlie Kirk. So and I want to update you guys here because I see there's some people mentioning something in the chat that don't understand. I have, as of Friday, January 2nd, I informed my full-time job that I was no longer going to be an employee there. I offered to work out some notice. I offered to do the professional thing and continue giving them my best for, a little while longer. I don't how much longer is yet to be determined, but I wanted you guys to know that you're going to be getting more Barron tonight for the very first time ever. We're streaming live on Rumble at the same time that we're streaming live on YouTube. Now, you Rumble people can only see the Rumble comments, and you YouTube people can only see the YouTube comments. I have an API feeding in that I can see both, and so it's really been fun watching the comments. And it's the green ones are from Rumble and the red ones are from YouTube, and it's been fun watching because you guys are totally different audiences. I can't describe it any other way. It's hard. The amount of professionalism it takes to stick to my script and to do my show and at the same time read these comments. It is really something. It really pushes the bounds of my professional talent. But luckily for you, my professional talent is just unbelievable. It's incredibly immense. No, I kid. But this has been fun. It's been really fun to bring in an entirely new audience. My guess is that the YouTube audience is probably 10 to 15, maybe 20% smaller because that's about how the size of the Rumble audience. And I can kind of look, at both of them. But this has been a lot of fun. I have been uploading. If you guys are on Spotify, when the show is over, I upload over there. So that gives you another outlet to listen to the program. I've been putting it up on X the following day as well. And we will start hitting Apple next week, I think. And maybe not this week, but I think it'll be finally up and running next week, by the end of next week. So, or maybe by the end of this week, but by next week it'll be up there. So those will be up there as well. If you have another outlet and you say, why aren't you on this? Email me, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Ask your wish may be our command. Maybe we will get to it. But I just wanted you guys to know, I had a friend contact me today who was very worried for my health. He's like, how are you working full-time and doing this full-time? I know what it takes to put a show on. And I was like, hey. Oh, I want to address one more thing before I go to the supers. I had someone email me and ask if I wrote my own openings or if I used AI. I write them word for word. The opening this morning took over 3.5, 4 hours to write. I mean, I would take breaks. I would do 20 or 30 minutes. I'd get up and walk around. Now, I do use Google and Gemini and Grok and stuff to find facts that I then will go through and confirm. Like, I don't know James Monroe's birthday. So I look, Grok, what is James Monroe's birthday? Oh, it's something such 1858. So then I can go look, or I can just pull up Wikipedia. So I do use other resources to find specific facts that I want. But the construction of them, the meter, the rhyme, the little Easter eggs I bury in there that some of you guys will find an email or text or whatever and say, oh, I caught that and I saw what you were doing there. Those are all me. So I write those by hand. I actually asked another person who does podcasting for a living. I said, should I start incorporating some of these tools? And the answer was no, absolutely not. You'll lose your voice. It won't feel like you. So don't do it. That the openings are an important part of the show. So I'm going to keep doing them by hand. And they are, for a 20-minute opening, I might spend 4 hours writing. So you're getting that from me. You're getting it. That's Baron Coleman creation right out of the gate. That's not going to be an AI thing anytime soon. So, and I'll let you know if I ever go that route. I won't go that route. But I do want to get through some of these because my favorite part of doing this show is getting to interact with people like Cash Money Kells. Pre-show super. Maybe we can call it the green room Excited for tonight's show. My guess is light green or light gray hoodie. You were not correct. It was actually dark gray. It was dark gray, Cash Money. It was dark gray. To everyone sending FOIAs. Oh, I already answered this one in the pre-show. Yes, if you're sending FOIAs, keep doing it, but let me know so that we're not replicating efforts. Like if you send a specific FOIA, if you email me a copy of it, that might stop me from having someone else send the same FOIA. Or send 1,000 of them. I don't care. Like, for example, here's one you guys can do. Like, here's a FOIA we need. Let me get the exact wording down. You guys ready for this? We need the sign-in sheet for the Thunder Valley Building, Joint Task Force Southern Border Headquarters, the Thunder Valley Building sign-in sheet. The building number, I think, is in that Mitch Snow police report. I think there's the building number itself in there, but I need that sign-in sheet. So if you will do a FOIA to that unit, to the Fort Huachuca, to whoever, I would be greatly appreciative, because that will help this program. You guys will all benefit from that, and I will give you credit if you want it. Some of you don't want credit when you find stuff. But if you do find stuff and you get credit, I'll give you a shout out on here. But yeah, I need the Thunder Valley Building, the Joint Task Force Southern Border Headquarters sign-in sheet. And I need it for September 7, 8, and 9. 7, 8, 9. September 7th, September 8th, and September 9th. I need all 3 days. All 3 days. And it's a public purpose because you're going to release it for free to the public. We're not going to charge for it. So if you're wondering. So yeah, let me finish this one here. Truth sleuthers this year. Let's mop the floor with the perpetrators of these never-ending lies, especially in Jesus' name. Yes, truth sleuth. Let's do it. Let's do it. I updated my YouTube name and photo in order to enlighten those who are low IQ and to honor our esteemed host. Not a fan of the U.S. unseating Maduro, but Trump might be jonesing for Venezuelan paella or oil. The paella would be more delicious. I would not recommend eating the Venezuelan oil. I don't think that's the best picture I've ever had taken of me, but I will allow it because this is a high IQ outfit. Oh, also, I've ordered the book. The book will be, I'm going to put it right here next to Teddy Roosevelt, between Steinbeck and Roosevelt. The logic book that I recommended for Joe, I bought it. It's going to be right here. I'm going to read it. I'll have some sections highlighted. When the audience is in dire need of some instruction, I'll give it to you. We're not gonna allow that stuff anymore. We're not going that direction, people. Not going that direction. On Gary's show with Linnea at the 1 hour 18 mark, a super chat question 3 days before Stu shared the call. He said he knew he was recorded and Candace has permission to share. Does Gary have a case? I posted a video on X. I think Gary would be hard pressed to find a legitimate lawyer that would sue or try to press criminal charges against Mitch for releasing that video. I've seen at least 2 places he said that he knew it was being recorded. And I don't know, is West Virginia a 2-party state? I don't even know if West Virginia is a 2-party state. I think he said that Washington State was a 2-party state in one of his no, not that 2-party state. This is a phone recording consent. It was like, yeah, we have Republicans and Democrats. Yeah. It's a 1-party consent state in Washington, meaning if Mitch was aware of it, then by West Virginia law, it'd be legal call. We're not trying to enforce it against Mitch. We're trying to enforce it against Gary. So I don't look, I'm not an expert on these kind of cases. I have litigated a 2-party consent case one time between a sitting state rep and a guy running against him. And I don't want to say more, because the sitting state rep is probably going to be the next U.S. Senator from Alabama. He's a great guy, and I really like him. His name's Barry Moore. He's phenomenal. But Barry Moore had gotten in a little heated litigation with a guy, and I represented him on that. And we got the case dismissed because it was a jurisdictional thing. It's about where are you and who are you trying to enforce it against. So I do have some experience in these cases, but I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. Fuzzy logic. Oh, fuzzy logic indeed. Hey, I'm telling you, we're going to fix that. I bought the book. Can't wait for the show tonight with the new full-time schedule. Is there any chance we might get earlier show for us Balkan night sometime? Yes, I know we're huge in the Balkans. And I am going to give you some earlier shows. I'm going to give you some earlier shows altogether. I'm also going to do some earlier Twitter spaces and I've got some ideas on those. I want to do those when I have a lot more give and take. I don't want to do it on a day like today when I had to do so much background on the Monroe Doctrine and so much background on Venezuelan oil companies and so much background. I mean, today was a little cap and gown. You guys were troopers for hanging in there. But yes, we will go earlier for our European and Australian and Balkan friends. We are huge in the Balkans. This was an answer to that because I told him earlier we were going to go earlier from time to time. I think Erica was planted in Charlie's life. Me too, Lauren. Me too. I really believe that. The more I learn about them, the more I read about Erica's early life, the more I read about the 5 or so years, maybe even 10 years before she allegedly first met Charlie. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I would love to be in the room with Charlie's parents and those kids at the same time. Huge in the Balkans. Yes, huge in the Balkans, Fuzzy. Oh, said don't share. You're welcome. Sorry about that. I feel a little bit like Gary. Sunday all. Happy Sunday all. Super excited for your opener. Money for the Tilly Snack Fund. She gets them. Right now, I'm trying to keep her from barking at the front door. Like one thing at a time. The snacks might help. A little positive reinforcement. Just say, Julie. Your next comment's on the house, Julie. I think you donated twice, or else the accidentally spit 2 versions of it out. We don't JoJo, but we Joe. Hold on, I gotta send that comment to somebody. They're gonna love that. Oh, that is great. That is great. We don't JoJo, but we Joe. Can someone send Joe's resources to our Joe people at TPUSA and Calvary Chapel? Did you know Texas Wilkes billionaire gifted Rob's church after meeting him in Israel? Yeah, I did know that, as a matter of fact. I did know that. She, hold on. What's the, I can't remember what year that was. Was it 2017? He was looking for a building and he couldn't afford it or something. And I think the Wilkes brothers bought it. So I think that was their donation. And I don't know whether they're paying them back or not. I don't know how that works. But the Wilkes brothers, huge over in the Middle East. Big time over the Middle East. Does anyone notice they let Jugglehead Kilmar Abrego Garcia out last month? No, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that at all. Did not notice that at all. Rental car, 1. Person cannot alter or clean vehicle and must notify authorities and rental company. 2, company must preserve vehicle as evidence, and any cleaning, repairs, re-renting, or resale is strictly prohibited unless cleared by authorities. Where did we get this law? Is this the law in Utah? You know, laws are specific to specific states. That's an excellent job. I just would love to know which state that came from, because I don't know. I don't know, and I would have to know in order to know whether they violated that law. Because if you're reading law from Washington or West Virginia, that doesn't have any application. I mean, it might be a little persuasive, but it doesn't have any application really in Utah. In criminal cases, is not really a persuasive thing. Criminal cases must be very strictly construed in favor of the defendant. So if you're accused of violating criminal law, it must be precise. It has to be really precise. You have to be on notice. That's a due process thing. All right. The week before the Erica Kirk Candace Owens meeting, TPUSA was playing hardball with Candace Owens. Then Candace Owens said, I saw Brian and a woman, and immediately Erica Kirk scheduled to meet her. Then 1 hour before AmFest drops that it was, in her opinion, or at least Mitch's opinion, Erica Kirk. We don't know whether it was Erica Kirk. I don't know who was in the ponytail and the plaid shirt and the blue vest and the blue jeans. I don't know. It could be anybody with the striking blue eyes. We'll have to see those photos. We'll have to get a good look at them. And then we'll know. We'll know. One way or the other, we'll know. Congrats on going full-time, Baron. Stoked for you and the rest of us. Stacy, that was very kind. That is very, very kind and generous, Stacy. Thank you. And I'm stoked. I'm stoked as well. It's going to allow me to do a little deeper research, a little deeper diving, some more frequent appearances, some specific appearances in other places. Like I would like to do some Rumble exclusive content, some X Space exclusive content to kind of help fill out the full offering of everything that we're going to be doing. I'm kind of excited about it. $8 and thank you, Stacy, for the very generous donation. Welcome to your new career, BC. Well, thank you, Pete Stronach, 49.49 for those $8. Thank you. Hottie Toddy, hoping for a chance to play Indiana. Yeah, you got to win a game, and so do we. That'll be fun, though, right? That'll be fun. Get to play a team with no coach. Sorry, that was a subtle dig. Very subtle dig. Has anyone looked to see if Trump or Vance displayed any behavior, said anything that would have indicated involvement or prior knowledge? Trump saying he would not be going to heaven makes me wonder. Oh, that's a great. Hold on. You just gave me an idea of something I looked up earlier today. I wasn't going to show this. I want to show you guys something. No, I've not seen anything that made me think Trump had prior knowledge. But I want to show you guys. This is great. This is throwing it back to the Google Trends. Look at this. Where is Venezuela? This is the search of the United States of America for where is Venezuela. Over the last year, almost nobody searches where is Venezuela. You people disgust me. You people make me sick. You wait until we bomb a country and capture their dictator to go, wonder where that is. Where exactly is Venezuela? And how don't you know? Why don't you know where Venezuela is? Americans? Now, what about our friends overseas? Do they know where Venezuela is? Oh, yeah. They know where. Oh, no. What happened? Oh, no. Oh, this is great because, let me try something different here. They had earlier today. Let me take today out and see if it changes it. Earlier today, I should have captured it then. Yeah, this is all smoothed out. Earlier today, there was this gigantic hump in January over in Israel. Like they'd been looking 11 months ago. Where's Venezuela? Where's all that oil? Where's the gold? Where's the silver? Where's the rare earth? But I thought that was hilarious. Where is Venezuela? Nobody on the planet knew where Venezuela was. That's Iran. What about France? Oh, yeah, France didn't know either. What about China? Did China know where Venezuela was? Do they care today? Nope, they don't care today. They don't care. What about Russia? Surely the Ruskies know. Do you guys? Nope, they don't care. But I thought this was great. What about their neighbors? Do you think Argentina knows where Venezuela is? They're on the other side of the continent. No, they don't ask. So, guys, this was hilarious. What about other American-speaking countries? Let's go with Australia. Do Australians know? They strike me as smart people. They kind of asked that question a little bit ago, but yeah, they didn't know either. They just all asking today. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. We invaded a country and stole their dictator, and everybody's like, "Where is that? Where did you say? Where did we go? Venice what?" I love it. I thought that was funny. That's great. Yay to the full-time podcasting. Well, thank you, Sherry. I look forward to spending some more time with you guys. It's going to be fun. I know you're an Adidas guy, but that Maduro Nike fit was too hot, too fire. Casual and sporty. He looked just like one of the guys. I bet he drinks gin and eats blue cheese stuffed olives. A friend of the people. I actually put on Twitter or on X, that is one of the reasons I prefer Adidas, is that it is not the sweatsuit of communist dictators in the Western Hemisphere. So, look, if he drinks gin and eats blue cheese stuffed olives, he might be a man of culture, but he got a funny text. But he is not he's not the kind of guy I want to dress like. Looking closely at that pic of Cabot with balloons, it appears that he erased a watch off his wrist. Huh? I have a trick I do to see if pics are edited, and I believe it was. Maybe Joe was his mentor. Allie, you're good at that kind of stuff. If you're watching, Allie, Top Files, someone email her, text her, send her a message. Can you find that out? She's good at that kind of stuff. Or Holly House, will you email me your work? realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Real Baron Podcast, 1 R. Real Baron Podcast. Well, it's confusing because they're really 2 R's. There's 1 R in the word real, 1 R in the word Baron. But for the sake of keeping it consistent, 1 R. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Will you send me the evidence? I'd love to see it. That's interesting. Very interesting. That would change the dynamics. Does anyone else find it strange that Mitch put his estranged son as his point of contact and not his wife? Why would he do that? My guess is, and I don't know this, my guess is that he was listed as the point of contact at a prior point in time when maybe they weren't quite as estranged, or maybe he didn't think he would be as estranged. And so he, I don't know if it's like the military system, you updated it, every week, every year, every month, every 5 years, 10. I mean, it could have been 10, 15 years ago. We don't know. So I don't, Allie saw, and she's checking now. So this is good. We're on to something. You see, this is real-time research, people. Real-time research. Yeah, I don't know. It was a little strange. It was a little strange, admittedly. Warrior Doberman mom. Thank you, $50. Dang it, Baron. I keep losing the chat color hoodie bet. Will you also tell us your schedule for the week? Some people aren't getting notifications. Keep up the great work. This week, I plan on going Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, I believe. It may be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, but I think it's going to be Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday this week. And I'd like to do a space. I've got somebody I want to do it with on Wednesday if they will agree to do it. So that would put all 5 days in play. The space will be a different topic than we've been covering on here, but a topic near and dear to my heart, and a topic, I'll just be honest, I'm going to ask Ian to do it because he was dynamite on Tucker, and I thought he did a great job. And I've covered the Vegas shooting in detail. Like I looked into a lot of that stuff for many, many months. And I'd like to compare notes, and I'd like to ask questions, and I'd like to have people be able to ask questions. So if he's free, I want to see if he'll do it. If he's not free, then I may hold off and do it another week when he is free. If not, maybe I'll find another topic to do it on. But I think the podcast here on Rumble and YouTube will be Sunday, Monday, tonight, tomorrow, and then Wednesday, Thursday. Did I say that right? Pay attention to the notifications. Hey, if you're looking at the hoodie bet, don't pick a hoodie I just wore like 3 episodes ago. I'm probably not going to go back that fast. I'm trying to save you some money here. As much as I like you paying on the bets. Do you think the Harpole Flood 2022 takeover the Charlie Kirk security contract is more sus than just an aggressive business move? I do. I really do. And I think it's why he's not alive. He went from a professional security outfit to a bunch of meatheads. And no offense to meatheads. Some of my best friends are meatheads. I love meatheads. I got a cousin who's a meathead. Like, I love meatheads. I just don't want them guarding me. I want very high IQ people guarding me. And I think he left a high IQ outfit. See what I did there? I think he left a high IQ outfit and then went to Meathead Central. I mean, you heard Brian Harpole on Sean Ryan's show. You're not dealing with the cream of the crop. Like, that guy's not, he's not a threat to ace the SAT. He's not going to take the LSAT and ace the logic section, right? I just think Charlie could have done better. I just think he could have done better, and I hate it. I really, really do hate it. What is this? I don't even know what all this means. Did you see Mitch's My Dad Was the Zodiac? Thanks for all you do. It helps me sleep. It's late here. Love from Iceland. Well, I would love to go to Iceland one day. I want to go when you guys have the Northern Lights. Like, we had a little bit of Northern Lights in Middle Tennessee a year or two ago, and I went way out into the country, like into Murray or Marshall County or somewhere down there. Went way out away from home, and I was out so far away from Nashville, you couldn't see the Nashville lights, and I was able to see a little pink and a little green in the sky. It was pretty. It was very pretty. But I want to get up there where it's like, blowing your mind. So one day, Edith So 3009, the Coleman family may join you, freezing to death in Iceland, looking up at the sky. And then we're going to jump right back on a plane and head home. I don't want to be cold that long. But I didn't see that. Mitch's My Dad Was the Zodiac. Was his dad the Zodiac Killer? I thought they found out who the Zodiac Killer was. Wasn't there like a documentary on that recently? Baron, was it really Mitch in the chat last episode? Did he reach out to me? He did reach out to me, and I talked to him for almost 2 hours on the phone. He emailed me Gave me his phone number. I texted him, let him know I would call him this morning after I got back from Mass, and we chatted for almost 2 hours. Excellent call. Very informative. I got a lot of my questions answered, and I think it will benefit this show in the long run, but it's nothing I wanted to talk about tonight, if that makes sense. But yes, I did talk to Mitch. I talked to him, like I said, almost 2 hours. Very, very informative, very, very in-depth call. Baron, did you see Wolves in Finance today? Yes, sir. On the way back from Mass. Wait, I shouldn't tell people that. I listened to it. I didn't see it. Brian Cole Jr., autistic, is the new Tyler Robinson, as Pam Bondi and Cash Patel are just sad. As always, you're the best. Love that laugh. Nice YouTube plaque. Oh, yeah, I got my plaque. See that in the corner? I forgot about that. It's back there. That showed up in the mail a day or two ago. They were very kind. Sent a nice letter. Where the letter went? Oh, it's over there. I can't reach it. No, I can't reach it. They sent a nice letter with it, but it was like, hey, thank you for helping YouTube make trillions of dollars. Thank you for playing your small part. Here's a piece of plastic. That's how they do it. You make them trillions of dollars. They give you peanuts for your share, and they give you some plastic to hang on the wall. But hey, it's better than not having plastic. Better than not having plastic. Apparently, the one at 1 million subscribers is really heavy and nice. I'm looking forward to that one. No, thank you, YouTube. Thank you, audience, for getting me there. Yeah, I was surprised by that. That was very nice of them. Got my name on it and everything. So very happy for that. My kids were super excited about it because they see that on YouTube all the time. They see it in the background of people that they follow. And so they thought that was just, kitties and whatever. They thought that was amazing. Keeping it clean. But yeah, nice YouTube plaque. Yeah, I saw the Wolves in Finance episode today. I have not looked into the pipe bomber case as closely as he has. Actually have a friend who was, for a very short period of time, accused potentially of being the pipe bomber. And I knew he wasn't, but a lot of people online speculated he might be. And so I have followed it maybe a little closer than most people just because of that angle. But he, I don't know, man. The guy doesn't, I mean, just in my amateur opinion, the pipe bomber looks like a woman. Hips sway. I think he was nice. Wolves in Finance pointed that out nicely. The hips sway. There's the bra strap adjustment, the waving at cops. Like, I don't know if he covered that part, but there's video of the pipe bomber actually waving at cops at one point. That's not something that, autistic guys who never even talk to their neighbors, they don't wave at cops. All right. That's just not happening. So, yeah, I'm going to watch that with intrigue. I hope he does a follow-up later. He does good work. I like Wolves in Finance. That's a good follow. If you don't follow him, follow him. You're joining a very short list at a critical moment. Big money will come. It always does. Stay independent. Let your audience float you through merch subs. Our kids need people who can't be bought. Don't sell out. We got your back. Respect. I'm not selling out. I had this conversation last night with my wife in terms of, because I've been approached by several companies that want to advertise. And I thought, I don't know if I want to go that route, because what if then they say, if it's a product I believe in and would use or do use, in one case, do use, if it's a product I believe in and they don't want to have any input whatsoever on what I say, fine. I don't mind it as much, but it does take on a new dynamic, because right now it's just you guys and me. That's it. There's no third party in the room. Nobody's listening. Well, yeah, they are. We know based on Andrew Colvette's tweet history, they're listening. But I digress. No corporate people are listening that could otherwise give me money. But no, I'm not taking $7,000 per show, if that's what you're asking. I won't be doing that anytime soon, or ever. I won't be doing that ever. I'll just quit before I do something like that. Happy Epiphany of our Lord. Not for 2 more days, young lady. Not for 2 more days. The Epiphany is January 6th. Feast of the Epiphany. That's when you could take your Christmas decorations down. You wonder why the crazy Catholics still have their trees up. This is why. This is why we keep them up until the Epiphany. Thank you for the donation. Maduro pulls off outfit changes almost faster than Tyler Robinson. Good call. good call. We must ask the question on all of our minds. Did the DEA pack and smuggle in an entire suitcase, or did Nike sponsor this operation? Nike new Maduro Spring 26 line. Yeah. He had some cool outfits. And here's the weird thing. Apparently people want to dress like communist dictators because that sweatsuit, I don't still have it pulled up. That sweatsuit, I don't think I have it pulled up. No, I don't. That sweatsuit was sold out like in an hour. Like if you wake up and you think, oh, they got a communist dictator who's been starving his people, but that shirt's pretty fly. I need that. If I ever become super scandalous, the Adidas Essentials hoodie line is just going to just explode. You won't be able to find one anywhere. It'll be on a 6-year back order. Charlie's basic premise when debating was that both sides had to start out with a mutually agreed upon definition. We've lost that. Thanks for bringing it back, Baron. Well, thank you. That was very kind word right there. That was a very kind message. Thank you for that very kind comment. Starting someone today. Thank you for pushing me towards this decision. Thank you also for all your hard work. Starting someone today. Oh, sobriety. I bet you're trying to say sobriety. Brandy, I don't know you. Find someone who's been down this journey and lean on them and send them text messages. Remember, you don't have to quit for your entire life. You're just quitting to bed tonight. And then when you wake up in the morning, you're just quitting until you eat breakfast. And then you're going to make a decision about whether you're going to quit until lunch. And then you're just going to quit till lunch. And if it ever gets too hard to go from meal to meal to meal, just quit for the next hour. You know, it's like when you're running distances and you look up and you say, if I can just make that mailbox, then I'll stop. And then you get to that mailbox, you're like, all right, one more mailbox. Then you get to that mailbox, like, one more mailbox. Just go to the next mailbox, Brandy. Go to the next mailbox. You are going to feel so much better 2 weeks from now. You're going to feel like a new person 3 months from now. And a year from now, you won't recognize who you used to be. I saw in the comments earlier, someone said they watched some old video I was on YouTube, some old podcast. I don't remember what it was, something from 10 years ago. And I pulled it up while I was doing my show. I pulled it up to look at it to see what they were looking at. And a big old fat alcoholic face. It just, you don't even realize how it affects you. So congratulations, Brandy. Best of luck to you. Keep us posted. Let us know when it's been a week. Let us know when it's been a month. Let us know when it's been 6 months and then a year. We'll celebrate each one with you. Cali Bar member here, Latchkey Hustle. Not sure if you mentioned this, but your no bullet theory aligns with TPUSA security turning away the on-site EMTs as if they don't want the EMT examining the injury. Appreciate your analysis. Yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah, I do not believe there was a bullet at all. I think there were multiple things that could have killed him independently. I had this conversation with somebody today. He wasn't leaving there. Charlie Kirk was not leaving Orem, Utah alive. So people are like, so are you waffling between electrocution and explosive mic? No, I'm telling you, I think there were like 4 things that killed him. I think there was a broken neck, an inflicted broken neck, in my opinion. I think he was shot with something, either in a hypodermic needle or some sort of taser, in my opinion. I think he might have had the electrocution, and I think it might have been something explode on him as well. The guy was not walking out of there alive. There was no chance he was going to live. None. And as a result, I think it's both and. And somebody comes and says, well, I think he died this way. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's the 5th cause of death. Any one of which probably would have been fatal. He was not leaving there alive. I think you'll learn more about that as the case develops. There's some facts that I know people have that I'm not going to share for them. But I think there are some extrinsic facts that will support that analysis. $20. Thank you, Moon Mama. Last episode, Real Mitch Now messaged he did take photos because the inn was his old barracks. People called him a fake. Same username on X now and is going back and forth with Paramount Tactical. I think it is the real Mitch, and he has pics. I don't know which username that was, but I know the real Mitch was in the chat last show and did contact me, claimed he was the real Mitch in the email. I saw it and thought that we should talk just to voice verify. It was him. 100% was him. And we had, like I said, a very fruitful, long, good discussion. And if he's using that same username on X, it probably is the same guy. I don't know. Can't say that for sure. Sent email 1-3. Erica's jet likely owned by Wilkes Brothers from Texas and registered in Wyoming too. Jesse on fire said company holding Charlie Kirk's life insurance policy registered in Wyoming. Sending those articles of incorporation to you, Cinder Khalidi. Thank you for that. I will say I had a story that I didn't know if I was going to cover this or not. Let me see if I can pull it up. Where did it go? I don't know what screen I have it on. I got too many screens pulled up, guys. I apologize. I had a story pulled up where did it go? Anyway, I can't find it. About her airplane being sold in the last couple of weeks, and I'll track that back down. Maybe I'll do that another day. Yes, airplane being sold. Margaret, thank you. Mora, like Laura, but Mora. Watching you on both YouTube and Rumble to help you with the numbers. Not bad for someone called Joe. Thank you, Joe Barker. Are you the Joe? If so, I owe you a big apology. If so, we got to talk, Joe. That would be awesome if that was. George Webb Theory mentions a Fed actor in a bomb exercise. Can explain documenting his time on base. Why does he have a dependent ID? Fake assigned son as the sponsor. Also explains MPs contacting son after incident on base. Yeah, I just don't. I don't follow George Webb ultra closely, so I don't know his. Like, I'm aware of his reporting, and I've followed. There's been stories of his I followed in the past that were fruitful, and I learned stuff from. But you only have so many hours in a day, and I have the people I follow already, and I don't read everything he produces, and so I don't know if when he says that I go, well, George said it, so I should believe it. Unless it's proven otherwise. I just don't have that track record with him. I acknowledge that you're saying he said it. I believe that he did if you're telling me that. I just don't know whether that makes it more true in my mind, because that doesn't sound right to me in my mind. In my mind, that doesn't sound right. But I don't know. That's take it up with George. He might have evidence of it. You should do a segment where you have someone who believes the FBI narrative while you direct examine them and vice versa. The problem with direct examination is it's hard if you don't believe it to direct them. It's easier to do cross-examination if you disagree with the person. Now that I would love to do. But you got to have agreed upon set of facts. And the thing about a trial is it's theater. All the facts have been agreed upon ahead of time. So it wouldn't have the same effect on an X space or on the YouTube or on Rumble, because we don't have agreed upon set of facts. All they had at some point they're just going to say, no, I don't agree with that. I reject the premise of the question, and then you're stuck. With a trial, you can't do that. You've already gone through discovery. The facts are the facts. Thank you for the. Let me put some thought into that. That sounds interesting to me. And now that you're going full time, is this alleged professionalism I keep hearing about coming soon? After all, I did subscribe thinking this was a high IQ outfit. RTR, love the show. I will allow it because that was hilarious. That made me laugh. This is a high IQ outfit. This is high levels of professionalism. So don't take it the wrong way. Yes. We're getting somewhere. It's crazy how I now get excited when I stumble on the countdowns for your podcast. Thanks for being real and clear in thinking. Well, thank you, Radio. Welcome anytime. Thank you for joining us, and hope you're having a good time. Nice new wall art you had back there. Yes, that was the. Yes, that was that. I'd forgotten about it. I put it up a couple days ago, and I'd forgotten about it. Or yesterday, maybe. Man, time flies. Petrodollar. Thus, U.S. power is ending. Venezuela buys time. Greater is no trial. Would solve the rest. Venezuela, Iraq, Iran, and top six. Yep, you're talking about top six in oil production. Well, Venezuela is by far the top in oil reserves. Iraq, Iran, both there, yeah. I mean, we have either bombed or signed a strategic agreement with every single country in the top 10 of oil, proven oil reserves. And that ought to tell you something about our foreign policy. Let's see. Yeah. Baron, from a fellow Middle Tennessean, I love your work. I just started a new show and would love to pick your brain sometime. I spoke to Billy and Brandy and Billy. Oh, I talked to Billy from Billy and Brandy, and they're awesome. Adam Thomas Pod. Let me look that up. I will say this, Adam. I'll recommend to you. I don't know if you heard me say this before, so I'll say it quickly for those that have already heard it. I was listening to a Sean Hannity show 20 plus years ago when Sean was big on radio and I didn't know any better. And somebody called in and said, "Hey, you've inspired me. I've got a talk radio gig. I'm going to do the Saturday evening show in Los Angeles on a little AM bit. And I'm going to send you my first episode." And Sean said, No. Send me your 100th episode. You just something about seat time you can't replicate. And if you've only been doing it a week or a month, it's just hard to have the reps. So unless you are a very comfortable person speaking in front of people, my advice may just be fire up the microphone whenever and wherever and get as many hours under your belt as you can. Even if they're just test hours, even if you're not really distributing them, but to friends and family. Like say you mark them private and just send them to family. Do them anyway. Do 8 hours a day if you can. Talk as much as possible. Lose your voice talking. And you'll get better over time. You'll get better over time. You go back and listen to my first shows, are terrible. Not the first podcast. I was a professional by the time I took over podcasting. Kidding, of course. No, my first radio shows were horrific. Absolutely horrific. I'm with you, Baron. Ready for us to be America only, at least until our own problems are under control. Thank you for all you do and for your infectious laugh. I did not know my laugh was catching like the flu or COVID. Oh, great. I said the C word and now YouTube's going to throttle me. I was kidding about that, YouTube. COVID's very serious. Wash your hands. Stay 6 feet away from people. You could save your life. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you do. Yeah, I'm America only. That's where I am now. I'm just America only. I love your story about your sister and marshmallows. My mom and I used to do the same thing. Really? Really? Here I was, Creeper Wheels, thinking you were something else. But waited until they burnt. Ugh. One of my fun memories with my mom when I was a kid. She's been gone all 3 years now. Go Max. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Creeper. I'm sorry I had to say I'm sorry to hear that, Creeper. I hate that those words came out in that order, but I am sorry to hear that. And I'm sorry to hear that you used to eat microwave marshmallows. Ugh. My poor sister. If you guys ever meet her, you're going to be like, "Oh, you're the marshmallow girl." Hey, let me tell you about Marshmallow Girl. She will get a box of Lucky Charms. She'll pour the bowls of Lucky Charms, and she only eats the marshmallows and then dumps everything else out. Don't tell her I told you that. Don't tell her I told you that. She'll dump the actual cereal out after just fishing around and eating the artificially colored marshmallows. Ugh. The trauma is why I can't eat marshmallows. It's that bad. Courtney Clinton, thank you. $100. Great opening statement, Baron. Thank you for sharing the context of what's going on. Maybe time to change that middle top picture behind you. I'm getting a lot of pressure to change the middle top picture behind you. And I have a backup that I could change it to if I needed to. I've changed it in the past. I'm going to leave it for now. If I do, I'm going to do it quietly because I'll forget. I'll do it like the button, the YouTube button. I'll put it up and then I'll forget I did it. and then it'll just change. Yeah. The context is key. If I hear one more person say, "Well, what happened is the Trump corollary." No. You didn't read the national strategic, security strategy. You didn't read it because the Trump corollary does not talk about kidnapping foreign heads of state. Doesn't talk about arresting them. It doesn't talk about capturing them. It talks about making friends and expanding our influence. That's all it talks about. So yes, the context is important. This isn't the Monroe Doctrine. This isn't the good neighbor policy. This isn't the Roosevelt corollary. This isn't the Trump corollary. This is something altogether different. Don't let people talk down to you like you're stupid. You're not stupid. This is a high IQ outfit. Go get your water. Oh, I didn't need to. My son brought it. Did you see him? Did you see his hand come in? Had it minutes ago, or probably an hour ago now. I love B names myself. You're my favorite, by the way. You're so refreshing, wise, and entertaining. You give such an important perspective. Go Max. Well, thank you, Baker. We have some B names in our house. I won't tell you what all they are, but yeah, we have some B names. Obviously, Baron being one of them. But we have B names generations above and B names generation below. So yeah, we've got there's only so many of them. Like when you realize because you need to keep a certain pattern going generationally and you need a B name, and you start looking and there's like 5 to choose from. You look and you're like, oh, okay. We don't have a lot of options. We're running out here. Americans shouldn't detach ourselves from Venezuela. Thank you for the generous donation, Juan Antonio. Greedy companies don't just fill their pools with oil. Modern comforts, rising tech comes at a cost, and that cost is reflected in endless wars. We refuse to connect to our modern lifestyle. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I get your point. And I understand how our modern lifestyles have created the need to intervene in oil-rich countries around the world. Like, obviously, like I just said, top 10 oil-rich countries, we're one of them. The other 9, we've either signed a strategic deal with, like Saudi Arabia, or we've bombed, like Iran, Venezuela, Libya, so forth and so on, Iraq. So, yeah, we've been there. We've been there. Gary, Eisenhower warned Americans about the military-industrial complex. He and JFK were the last admirable presidents, and JFK was eliminated by them. That's your deep state. Yeah, I saw your super on Trigger Smart too. I like you supporting him. I like Trigger. Good guy. Great show. Good content. Really liked his show from, was it yesterday? A couple days ago. It was great. Whatever day it was fantastic. Looked up definition of catharsis in the dictionary. It showed your rant about Joe and provided a good cathartic release. Poor Joe. It's not Joe's fault. She's afflicted. Yeah, so this is interesting. Fuzzy logic. Excellent lesson, brother in Christ. Message received loud and clear in the Balkans. Why do weather reports for Fort Huachuca differ across weather sites? Mainly precipitation levels. Is this normal? I think it is normal, and I think it's based on where the collection is. Keep in mind, it's a desert. It's not like you get widespread showers for 50 miles in every direction. You know, you get these little showers that pop up, and I think, I mean, maybe during monsoon season they get a little more steady rain. But I think it just depends on where the weather station was. I see a lot of people pushing back on the rain. It didn't rain in September 8th and 9th. Look at weather bug. Okay. Roger. Gotcha. We'll find out. Make Venezuela great again. I don't remember voting for that. I don't either. Colossians 3:23-24. Baron, I respect all your work and your commitment to finding answers. You're really going to challenge me because here I am wanting to move on, but I'm also insanely curious about what you've written here. I want to make sure it's not like, and the host is stupideth. I want to make sure that you're not insulting me in the King James. Let's see here. GE, General Electric Phone Company. So I'm in Galatians, so I need to move forward. GEPC. Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians. See, I even know the mnemonic devices. You guys act like Catholics don't know anything. Colossians 3:23 and 24. Oh. Whatever you do, do from the heart as for the Lord and not for others. Check. Knowing that you will receive from the Lord the due payment of the inheritance. Be slaves of the Lord Jesus Christ. Duly noted, sir. Duly noted. Thank you for that uplifting message there. Do a podcast on Erica's family and past. I probably could. Her dad's pretty boring, but her mom has a lot there. Her mom's side's a little more fun. Howdy from East Kentucky. Been here since Google. Love the history lessons. Never sent a super chat. Picky who I support, but you seem like good people. Love lawyer point of view. Stay safe. Prayers for you and your family. Thank you, Janie. I remember my first super chat. Glad I could be your first. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was so nervous. I wasn't sure how to do it. But then you realize, well, hold on, I gotta get a little out of control there. I'm about to start talking about hitting buttons. That's funny. Blue cheer, that gummit. Well, you hit me again, and I didn't see it in time to ask you what the horse is. But I get a lot of people email me often every time I ask about the horse but I don't get a specific answer. I need to know specifically, Blue cheer. What is the horse? What is the horse? Let's see. We were late to the show tonight, 15 minutes, and we can't miss the opening statement, so we are on the short bus. We'll tell Joe hello. Tell Joe hello. She's on there somewhere. I tried to do that with a straight face and couldn't. I'm so sorry. That was uncalled for. You guys, I disrespected you guys. You guys deserve better than that. Channels such as yours are true gems. Thank you, Barking Dog. 106 barking dogs. Finally, a place where you can investigate and seek the truth and not fall for deliberate distractions. Appreciate you for keeping it real, and I appreciate your subscribers for recognizing it and sharing. Thank you. Very kind. I love the show. So glad you're going full time. Also love the picture description tease. We don't know, but we know. You have it of EK. Someone else love it. Hey, listen, that's your opinion. That's your opinion. I'm just telling you. I'm just having fun. I'm just having a good time out here. That's why I'm talking to Chalet Walt. You're the best. So happy for you and your success. You deserve the new chapter. Love the humor, humbleness, and sass. Living for this right now. Well, thank you. Thank you. Very kind. You guys, like I said, my favorite part of the show. So I was talking to somebody at the gym today, and they said, explain your show to me. And I said, it's three parts. I do an opening statement. It's 10 to 20 minutes, sometimes a little longer, rarely less, but 10 to 20 minutes. I do 2 or 3 stories, sometimes 4. They last anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour and a half, which puts the total show at like 60 to 90 minutes, sometimes an hour and 45. And then I interact with the audience. And that's my favorite part. That's my favorite part. I would sit here and just answer questions all day if I could. Could you comment on the map of South America divided in dark blue and dark red with Israel named on it? This was on a DD Got a podcast last night, and I didn't quite follow. I haven't seen that. South America map, blue, red, Israel. If I can't find it on that, I can't help you. What is that? Yeah, I can't. I see it, but I don't. I don't know. Apparently, this is suggesting that Israeli interests are getting more and more influence in South America, but I'm not prepared to have that conversation. I do like DD Got a podcast, and I will go watch it on your recommendation because that sounds interesting to me. Sounds like an interesting topic that we should all know about. But I just wasn't familiar with it. Joe Kent from DNI calling Mitch kind of rules out DNI involvement, while former Fort Huachuca base commander on TPUSA board is suspicious of military op. Yeah, so I haven't commented on the Joe Kent angle yet. But if you heard the conversation with Gary, Mitch mentioned that he had only talked to Candace and Joe Kent. And if you remember, Joe Kent was one of the people trying to figure out if there was foreign involvement and was blocked by the FBI. So I'm very intrigued by that development. I actually did not ask Mitch today because I had so many notes that I wanted to ask him about. I didn't even ask him about that part of it. I wish I had now. Maybe I'll have to have a follow-up call with him. But thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, it's very suspicious. Maduro snatched 3 hours after meeting Chinese delegation where 600 bilateral cooperation agreements were signed. I did not know about the bilateral cooperation agreements. I knew the Chinese were in town. But, if you're going to snatch somebody, you don't worry about who's at their house. You just go get them. Thank you for your brain and breaking it down for us simple people. You're truly great. Well, thank you, Christina. That was very, very kind, high praise. Very, very high praise. You guys are kind. Hi, Baron. I've heard from some on the right the Venezuela strike was to prevent a power vacuum where China would step in and take over, similar to Panama. Was this a protective or solely a power play? Love your show. I think it was a power play. But isn't every power play ultimately a protective play? Like if you're taking over a country on a power play, isn't that ultimately the only reason you're doing that is because you think their existence would pose a threat to you at some point in the future, right? Either because they have resources you need, so it's protective of you. I'm going to do a power play on them to get their resources to protect me, or to stop someone else from coming. I mean, so 6 on one hand, half a dozen on the other. But no, I don't know. I like this one. Have you read Confessions of an Economic Hitman by John Perkins? It's an essential must read and explains it all, especially your Citgo flowchart. Please read it and then share here with all. She said it best. I've heard of it. I've not read it. I have not read it. All right, Gary's back. Gary's back for more. Sit down, folks. It's oil. It's the rich. It's the billionaires. They control the deep state. Blame it on the Dems or blame it on the Republicans. But it's really the elites, the military-industrial complex. Yeah, guys, it's not one or the other. There is no Republican or Democrat. Can we stop that? Oh, this is interesting. I'm getting analysis live about the arm we were asking about. This is interesting. I'm going to have to look at this. It might be on to the tomorrow show. Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah. So we'll look at this. Let me look at this later. I saw the notice coming in. The fruit of your labor. This is why it's a fun group show. You guys recommend things we research. We turn it over and people start researching. Listening to old episodes again on Spotify. We got your back, but wrong. Full time means more knowledge for us. This is a high IQ outfit. I got a notice today that I should hit the milestone tomorrow for them to begin pushing it out. So you guys were wonderful. I asked you guys to go listen to some episodes. I didn't mean listen 24 hours a day, but some of you did, I guess, because I was several thousand hours short of hitting their milestone mark to be considered a serious podcast on the Spotify platform. They don't care about your followers on YouTube or Rumble. They don't care. They want followers on Spotify. That's the only thing they care about. And so I put out the clarion call. You guys answered. And I got a notice today that we should be good by tomorrow. So thank you. That will help the distribution on Spotify, which ultimately helps the channel become that much better day in and day out. Yes, very, very high IQ outfit. Spelled like high C, by the way. The black horse is Bucephalus, the blackest and strongest, the most beautiful horse that ever was. Remember the 1979 movie, The Black Stallion? The little statue Alex's dad gave him, the figurine of the legendary horse. Is that true? Bucephalus? Is that horse? Why did I not know that? That doesn't look the same. It looks like a different horse. And then I was like totally digging that comment. I was like, yes, finally, Bucephalus. But that looks like this looks like a modern creation. The one I was talking about looks old. Looks like a ancient, trinket or something. February 1, 2020, weeks before many Americans heard of COVID-19, Singer wrote a memo to his employees about preparing for the possibility of being quarantined for at least a month due to the virus. I saw that, and I didn't mention it. I didn't mention that fact when I saw it. Because there's only so many things that I can cover at once. Only so many things I can cover at once. Let me see here. How do I get that to show up? I don't know how to get the Rumble one to get on the screen, but I've got one here. It says CIA, DARPA invented Bitcoin and quantum computing with crack blockchain. Thoughts? So I do intend to do a Bitcoin show. I had it prepped. I have it ready to go. I ran it by some people, some insiders who said, be careful. Like that's something people don't play with. And so I am being careful. It's the best I can do is being careful. But I do believe that it originated outside of the United States. At least the concept originated outside of the United States and was imported into the United States and then finished here. We will cover that. And I think how that happened is an important part of the story. Thank you for your great podcast. Love your opening statements. Well, thank you, Ohio Nani. And the first one was Lady Ace 21. So thank you both. Thank you both. Very kind. If there were other ones on here, they might have expired before I got there, before I saw them. But I was unable to get those to pull up. So thank you, Rumble people. I will go back and find if you guys sent some that I didn't see, I will go back and find them. I'll go back and find them. That was already the one I did. Singer. I have a water if you need it. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, Slowpoke. I've got one. Edge, brother-in-law stationed at Ven. What is Ven? Years ago, and mission. I know very little except it involved many ships, corrupt government, and do not buy. Venezuela. Do not buy Citgo. You know when I gave up on Venezuela? When one of the Bushes married someone from Venezuela. I was like, I don't trust the whole country. Like, I'm off Venezuela. If one of their citizens will marry a Bush, I'm out. I will not have anything to do with it. That's when I knew. I looked in the mirror and I said, I'm done with the country. I'm done with the country. Get my email. Jree at Proton. Proved your theory. Answered how everything happened. Ring, bang, shirt, etc. Love your show. Found you via Ian, Candace. Your flight log said 9:10. Arizona, Salt Lake City, and back for Erica Kirk. Your last cast. Yeah, I remember that flight. I know exactly the flight you're talking about. I'll check your email. When did you send it? Now, my wife is on email duty some as well. We're both firing away at the email, trying to get back above water. So we are still very behind on emails, but I am probably within a day or two now, whereas before I was like 5 days behind. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Doing our best. I said it on your last live. You are creating the forum that can bring us all together, right and left. Go Max Barron. We need this. Think about it. I've been accused of being a bad Republican, and I'm okay with that label. I would be a terrible Democrat, so I'm okay with that label as well. But I'm not a party guy. Like if the Republicans or a Republican president is doing something stupid, I'm going to call it out. I'm not a Trump guy. Like I think Trump has done some good things for the country, but I'm not a Trump guy. When he makes mistakes, I'll call it out. I first broke with him over Syria back in 2017, like 3 months after he got into office. He bombed Syria, and I was like, I got on the radio that morning. I was like, I didn't vote for this. And if this is who he is, I don't want to be a part of it. Now, he kind of redeemed himself. He has since redeemed himself from that. But now, I mean, it's like it's worse. I'll tell you what, I didn't vote for this. I didn't vote for bombing Caracas. 1913, Federal Reserve, IRS, Rockefeller. A lot of words there. Rothschild agent installs central banking, income tax legalized, private money enters government. World War I begins. This wasn't coincidence. Banking, health, media, taxation, identity war. I agree with every word you just said. Even the ones I skipped. I agree with them all. Every word. Every single word. And thank you for that very generous donation, Bart Simp. Bart Simpson? The Bart Simpson? So we had Mitch Snow and Bart Simpson in the chat? Incredible. Visa City. Congratulations on that YouTube plaque we see added to the wall. My husband paused it, and we walked up to the TV to point it out. So proud of you. Well, thank you. It was a great honor. And I'm very thankful they sent that. I figured if they sent it, you guys gave it to me because I'm just one guy, and it requires 100,000 of you guys, playing along at home to get it. So I went back and figured if you guys were going to give me this beautiful plaque, I might as well put it up where you can see it. I had an empty hole on the wall of me, and so I put it right there. I always feel so vain when people look at the wall of me because, I mean, but you're kind of required to put that stuff up. Right? People need to see it. Not you guys, but like if you're doing business, people want to see that stuff. Date night fund. Oh, thank you, Kay Jones. Oh, we did go to a date night the other night, by the way. Somebody gave us money specifically for a date. We went and spent it. We went to a nice little Persian restaurant. We had a stew. It was like a spinach and some kind of really salty stew, but then they served it with this rice that had these really tart sour berries with it and some saffron oil over the rice. We had some lamb skewers and some chicken skewers. What else do we have? Oh, dude. They have this saffron rice patty that they like pan fry and then pour this gravy over the top of it. They gave us 5 little ones and then enough gravy for the 4 of us. Place is incredible. And they've got a big old bowl of hot tea, and you just kind of fill it up until you're all cracked out from caffeine. They give you enough tea for a table of 8, and it was just the two of us. So yeah. So we drove home like this the whole way. But the food was amazing. The food was amazing. Just lay off the tea next time. I don't need that much caffeine at 9:00 at night. So yes, date night fun. We will use that accordingly. So excited you're going full time. I'm here for it. Please never forget who Charlie was to so many of us. Keep up the good work. If you're ever in Nashville and you're looking for a good place to eat, in Belmead, there's a little Persian restaurant, and it's phenomenal. It's called Nusha. It's great. Free advertisement. There's not sponsored content. They gave me nothing for that. BB dressed exactly like Trump in exact blue suit and red tie. Such a psychological mirroring exercise. They're incredible. Right out of the playbook. Made me laugh. Yeah. I'm over that, honestly. I'm totally over the BB Trump bromance. Stacy, back for more, another 50. I'm really surprised at the U.S. support of the Venezuelan occupation without congressional approval. Yes, Maduro was a bad guy, but we have multiple truths going on at once. Doesn't make what he did right or in the U.S. best interest in the long run. That's kind of where I am. Like, even if it benefits the Venezuelan people tomorrow, does it put people of the rest of the world at risk? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's my concern. I'm a little bit of a Benthamite utilitarian in this respect when it comes to this. Like, I don't think Benthamite utilitarianism is a great way to look at the world. I think Jeremy Bentham was a little bit of a monster in that respect. But on this sole issue, I think there's a lot to it. And if you don't know who Jeremy Bentham is, he was a philosopher who, I don't think he invented it, but he kind of first articulated in a series of writings the concept of utilitarianism. And utilitarianism often reduces people to chattel, right? You start weighing what needs to be done based on who benefits the most. And there's a lot of thought exercises that go along with it. But I am a little bit of a Benthamite utilitarian on this issue, though, because if invading Venezuela frees 25 million people, let's say, and they become prosperous and happy, but it puts 1 billion people at risk because now their leaders are definitely never going to let that happen to them. And so they crack down even harder. Have you really helped anybody? And if the answer was, well, I'm okay sacrificing the success, lives, and happiness of those 1 billion people in order to get more oil for my people, I didn't sign up for that. That's not what I voted for. So I do sort of look at geopolitics at times as a utilitarian, not every time. Baron, do you have a website? I'm happy to spin one up and manage pro bono to support the cause. Email me, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. I have realbaronpodcast.com reserved. I have baroncoleman.com, obviously. But both are in just shabby condition. I don't know any other way to say it. Both are hopeless. So happy to talk to you. Throw a few dollars in, people. This bloke junked a career to be here for us. Kids, food, wife, hoodies. It's the hoodies that are setting us back. Meals. Because I know there are more than capable of speaking for yourself. I feel like you deserve it. Australian. I saw the salute. Thank you, sir. Thanks, Pete. Yeah, I did take a step out on faith because I feel like, my wife asked me that question the other day. She said, what do you want to get out of the podcast? Yesterday, I think. What are you wanting to get out of this? Like you've stepped out on faith, hoping that nobody cuts the limb off behind you. What is it you're trying to accomplish? And I said, well, I really felt like the momentum the show has and the interaction with the people and the tips we get and how we're able to take those in-house here, my wife, me, friends that are helping with the program, and then churn it back out into good content that it advances the public discussion on very important issues. And that to me is worth the risk. Like the future of the Republic is worth it to me. The future of I don't want to say the future of the world. That sounds a little vain, but the future of the Republic, the discussion, the public marketplace of ideas, entering that marketplace, taking what you guys are saying, mixing it with my expertise, my knowledge, my communication set, wrapping it all together, getting ideas, getting information, running down research, having people help, looking at pictures, looking at this, looking at that, thinking our way through it, examining flight logs. And we put it all together and are able to package it and send it back out in a way that people go, huh. I mean, just the Google Trends thing alone, somebody recommended referenced that a minute ago. The Google Trends thing alone has totally fundamentally changed the way people look at mass shootings. Totally fundamentally changed the way people look at these false flag operations. Because you just throw quotes around someone's name and go look and go, why have they not been searched anywhere on Earth except in the last 2 months in DC? Why? Like 5 years of no searching this guy's name, and there he is 6 weeks ago in DC. And then he goes and shoots up a school yesterday. Now, come on. So it's fundamentally advanced the public discussion, and people can dismiss it, people can set aside, but when done properly, you can't get away from it. It is a very powerful tool when done properly, but you have to do it properly. You have to isolate date ranges. You have to check it against multiple years. You have to use quotes around your search terms. You have to rule out whether or not there's some sort of noise production that you're not that's not just coming through, ruling out 21, 22, 23, 24. Here it is in 25. There could be something else. Was there something else that happened? Was there some pop star who broke out on the scene named whatever? Because if so, that's going to mess your search up. So they took down Dee Dee's show about how we are paying for our own invasion. Did they? I didn't see that one. Was this the one you guys were recommending me watch from a couple days ago or yesterday? I'd like to see it, so I hope maybe he marked it private because he had to edit it or something, or did he say they took it down? That would be interesting if they're going to start taking stuff down from people. I watched the Saddam Hussein trial at the time. He kept saying almost to the room, I did everything you asked. Weird, huh? Weird. If I was a dictator or a president or a king or a leader in the Middle East, and I started doing the bidding of certain entities, maybe ours and others, I would be very nervous about the next 10 or 15 years down the road when they decide I'm no longer convenient and need to be offed. That would bother me. It would bother me. Congrats on going full time. Thank you, Alpaca Renee. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. Jeremiah 29:11, Bomb Dog Fund. The Bomb Dog Fund, I think it's up to like 260 now. Well, Bomb Dog Fund's getting to where we might be able to afford a paw. We're getting close. We're getting close. Thank you, Alpaca Renee. You've been a very valuable contributor almost from the beginning of this program. You've been here from the beginning. Has anyone talked about the fact that the picture Gary got from Andrew with the finger of the kids shows the son is bigger than the daughter? The son is younger than the daughter. So who are the kids in the picture? Yeah, the problem I have with it is it doesn't show her in the picture. Like, not only is it two random kids, in my opinion, but it's not even her. Like, it's her weirdly shaped finger over it, but it's not her. I've got an opinion on that finger, by the way. I got an opinion on the finger. France played a big role, too, in taking out Gaddafi. They have their tentacles in pretty much all African countries. I think Charlie Kirk was a dead man walking when he said there was a stand-down order. He maybe a little after that. Wasn't that like in September or October of 2023? Like right after the invasion? Maybe. I don't know. Because that would mean they let him live for almost 2 full years. But yeah, I think he's been a dead man walking since at least early 2025. But I think going a week out of the event, there was no chance. They were not turning back at that point. He was gone. There were too many pieces in place. There was too much in motion. I think there were 4 or 5 different mechanisms that could have caused his death. Any one of which could have caused his death. You've read those reports, right? Medical exam reports, and you read it and it's like, well, he could have died from blunt force trauma. He could have died from the fact that his arm got cut off and he'd have bled to death. He could have died from the cancer he had. I think that was kind of the situation. I think that was kind of it. Eric Kirk, Cabot Phillips, and Brian Harpole, if they were indeed at Fort Huachuca, there will be major doo-dooing in pants. Maybe Venezuela event, key ally in the West, was also a warning and related to Iran. I don't know. I don't know about the Cabot Phillips thing. I have less of an opinion on that. NORAD in Colorado Springs, Giat. That's the general we talked about the other day. I actually have that video pulled up. I was going to show a bit of it tonight, but we ran out of time. Maybe explain Sam 000 on 825 or Sam 702 on 989. Colorado Springs, Tucson, Fort Huachuca. Giat is from Tucson originally. I didn't know he was from Tucson originally. Need to look into the flights maybe a little closer to see what he was doing those days. That's certainly good intel. I mean, I think a 4-star general like that would definitely rise to Sam 702. I don't know if he'd be Sam 000 material, but maybe. Your opening is amazing. We both agree. It's like listening to Paul Harvey. Well, thank you, man. You compare me to Paul Harvey. That is royalty. That is radio royalty. So thank you. I used to listen to Paul Harvey when he was alive. Good day. I used to listen to him when he was alive. He was amazing. So thank you. Very kind. Trump, Netanyahu, and all the tech pros, billionaires, are all about themselves and their interest. I am in Iceland, but deep in geopolitics, and all this drives me crazy to follow. It's 1 a.m. here, and I will stay up for you. Well, I hope I'm not letting you down, AT. It's okay to be like me. I fall asleep listening to people all the time. I fell asleep last night listening to Tucker and Ian. Had to wake up, scroll back in the morning, and figure out where I was. Pull my headphones out. But I did. But hey, I made it. I figured it out and finished the episode. Ian did a great job. Real Bays, $199.99. Thank you, Real Bays. $200. Amazing. Real Bays has been doing some podcasting. I've been checking in on you. Happy New Year, Baron, and congratulations. Truly happy for your success. I'm glad your hard work is paying off. Watching your channel grow has been an inspiration. I want to say I'm right behind you, but I'm not that cocky. Best wishes, LFG. Be cocky. Be cocky. If you got it, flaunt it. No, I'm just kidding. Keep your shirt on. Yeah, I've been watching some Real Bays content. He does a good job. He's getting better. But people do. It's reps. Bays. You'll be giving that advice to somebody soon. Someone's gonna say, but Bays. How did you do it? And you say, hey, you just gotta get in the saddle, baby. Fire up the camera, start talking. You just gotta do it. Thank you for the very generous donation. Gary, your app says you spent 4 hours and 19 minutes in high stress, most of which was watching me. Why would I stress you out? I hope not. Fact. Major U.S. defense contractor changed its name in September 2025. Fact. I feel like I'm watching The Office. That same renamed defense contractor purchased Flight Radar 24 shortly after the name change. Claim. I was placed under 24-hour cyber attack. Really? Well, I got to take a picture of this. Who were they? And why did they change their name? I spy with my little eye. Your YouTube creator work. Congrats. So when is the Candace Barron collab? Look, I can only tell you what I know. And we've chatted about it. Thank you for spying that. Like I said, I've actually skipped over several comments that commented on it as well. But Adriana's a great commenter, so I wanted to pull her up. But yeah, it's back there, hanging out. But I can't spill all my secrets at once. Jess Happy, thank you, Jess. $200, very, very kind. Charlie Kirk was helping Brett Weinstein have a voice in the White House Trump regarding the use of messenger RNA in the future. Guess who owns the platform? My life changed after second jab. My NP license was used to quiet me. I think Charlie Kirk saw the devil, and the D slips into every crack. Jess. The D slips into every crack. Really? that was your choice of words? Charlie knew. Well, Charlie might Charlie might have known. Maybe he did. Maybe he did. Who owns the platform? mRNA platform owner. Who owns the platform? Moderna? Is that who it is? I don't know. You're ahead of me. So you guys, here's what I don't like. If you send me something that's vague and is going to prompt me to respond, I'm pretty stubborn, and I don't respond. I'm pretty stubborn. Every now and then you'll get me and crack me, and I'll crack me. Every now and then you'll get me. I don't know if you did that on purpose. Like if those little Easter eggs that I slip into my opening sometimes, I don't know if your end of your comment there was an Easter egg, but that was funny. Thank you for the very generous donation. And if you did that on purpose, thank you for the sense of humor. That's hilarious. Great show. Thank you, Jennifer. Look forward to you and Candace podcast the most. Keep up the great work. Love your opening statements. Congrats on full-time and ascension. Well, ascension in Catholicism is a big word. I'll just take the full time. I'm not ready to. Well, I mean, I am ready. If the Lord calls, I will ascend. I'm not going to put it off if he says you got a ticket. Once he knows I'm in and he wants me, have me. But I'm having a good time down here, Lord. So, not. You get in this tug of war with the big fella. It's tough. But thank you, Jennifer, for the generous donation. Candace should use Angry Baron as her anger translator, like in the Key and Peele skit. That's funny. By the way, I laughed at the snark after I told you about the correct way to say New Braunfels. Love Sassy Baron. I don't know why people were saying it wrong. People were Braunfels, I mean, they sounded ludicrous. It's Braunfels. You've told us this. And thank you. Thank you for the correction. Yeah, I'll be her bad cop. That's fine. I'll be her. I want to say so much right now, and I can't. Baron. Love your work, dude. Go backs. Wasn't the DC sniper a domestic terrorist act? That's Fed jurisdiction. Why wouldn't FBI investigate Tara Robinson instead of Utah State Police? Charlie Kirk case isn't a normal homicide. It is a normal homicide according to law because it's an in-state actor and an in-state death. The DC sniper started in Montgomery, Alabama, actually, about a mile from where I was working at the time. And it ended up in DC and Maryland and Virginia, all around the place. So it had a multi-state angle, is what I'm saying. But you know, for better or worse, Charlie Kirk getting taken out was just a routine homicide for most people. I mean, until you start digging in and you realize he wasn't actually shot, and he might have been electrocuted, and there might have been something explode under his shirt, and he might have been shot with some sort of a hypodermic needle or hit with a taser afterwards, and he might have had his neck broken, and that they threw him in a car like a side of beef, and there were fragmented black pieces of plastic apparently all over the place. And then they try to force the story on the surgeon, and when you go through it, they're taking out SD cards. They're Charlie's dead. They shot Charlie. You got creepy Butch Hibbs walking around planning stories about he was shot. You have some, I'll pull it up next time, but you have some guy standing next to Butch Hibbs who nobody recognizes, and he looks out of place. He's wearing a backpack. I mean, there's just so much that you realize it's not a normal murder. But when you talk about a guy in Utah alleged to have killed a guy in Utah, that's normal murder stuff. That's new. That's normal murder stuff. Congrats on the new YouTube bling on your wall. My husband and I love watching your show. Well, thank you. Yeah. I should take it down and bring it over here, but then you'll see how I hang stuff up and you'll make fun of me. You'll be like, what are you, 5? As promised on X, I'm here in chat on my birthday. Excited to spend it with y'all. 33 years around the sun. Congrats on going full time. I can only hope I can keep up with the content. Let me pull this back up here. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Very, very kind words. Sorry you have to live in Oregon, where Indiana's playing Oregon next week. So don't take it personally if I gloat when it's over. Edge, I know Eric Kirk lies, and no surprise to learn of Cabot Phillips, but I admit to indignation that he has worked with TPUSA for years. Evil handler, poor Charlie. Justice, love your work. I don't know any of those to be facts. I mean, those are all your opinion, and not that I disagree with your opinion. Not that I disagree with it, but, it is your opinion. Congrats on the promotion, Baron. Well-deserved. Best on YouTube regarding citizen journalism. There's a lot of good people out there on YouTube. There's a lot of good people out there, and I'm not sure it's a competition. Just out here trying to, like I said, contribute to the marketplace of ideas, help with the production of content, and having a good time doing it. You don't have a great poker face when it comes to the forthcoming pictures. Great opener. The people need more cap and gown. Yeah, I will, when necessary, go there. When necessary, we'll get a little cap and gowny on this show, but not every show, because that some people don't like it. Thank you for the donation. Hi there. Been watching you for a long time. Do you know what my name means? Love you from Chile with love. Soledad. I don't know. I know Soledad O'Brien, the former, what was she? She was on MTV, or she was somewhere. Soledad O'Brien. Is she on a news show? I'm not looking her up. Oh, she might have been on CNN. Sorry, Soledad. I don't know what your name means. I don't know what your name means. But hopefully one day you'll tell me. I love how you don't know, but you know. And when we see the photo, we already have the whole description ready. Love you, Baron. You're the best podcast on. Well, I'm just supposing. I'm just saying, suppose something like that existed. Just suppose. Let's see here. Congrats going on your own. I did a few years ago. It's scary, but it's worth it. Thank you, Kenny Smock. It is a little scary, I'll be honest with you. It's a little scary, but we're having fun. What do you think the likelihood that Charlie's parents will get involved in pushing to solve his murder? Also, Grok now says he has a sister, but a few months ago he was saying no siblings. I didn't know Grok was. Listen, guys, you guys cannot take artificial intelligence at its face. You have to confirm everything. If Grok says he has a sister, go looking to see if he's a sister. The same reason artificial intelligence is telling people it's raining some days and it's sunny some days. I can't accept that just because they say something, it means it's absolutely true. That's not the way it works. Not the way it works. Yeah. I got a nice little group going on in Rumble. How about that? Just checking in on you people over there. Make sure you're still alive. Nice little group over there, though. Making sure you guys are still alive. Trump barked at Charlie when he protested war with Iran in Oval Office, and Trump knew Israel bugged White House. So maybe Trump was clued in. Yeah, I just don't think Trump was as close with I don't think Charlie was as close with Trump as Charlie thought he was. That's my thing. I just don't think he was as close. Sorry about that, Edge. I'm sorry I said you didn't have a coach. You do have a coach. You just hadn't done it. You just hadn't really been there for a while yet. But we're working on it. You guys are a good football team. Hey, Baron Shirley, I'm late. I am so glad to hear we have you full time. Yeah. Kimeho, Kimmy Joe. I'm gonna call you Kimeho. It's better that way. Trust me. If you're gonna be around here long, you're gonna want to be Kimeho, not Kimmy Joe. People are gonna be very confused. Hi, Baron. What about the priest praying over Charlie the night before to knock down the witch's curse? Could a necklace have been planted at that time? Well, of course. Necklace could be planted anytime, but they didn't need to plant a necklace at that time because Erica had full custody of the necklace until Charlie left the next morning. So they didn't need to plant the necklace at that time. I wonder why Charlie Kirk was surrounded by ethically questionable staff. You and me both, kid. You and me both. And he was. He also did very well for himself. Oh, he was rich. I don't know why he is so glorified. My Gen X kids were not impressed, but did not deserve the bang. Well, that's kind of the thing is I don't think he deserved the bang. Whether or not he was whether or not he deserved the bad or whatever, I don't think he deserved the bang. And isn't that ultimately what the question is? Ultimately, aren't we curious about how he died, whether or not we agreed with every decision he made while he was alive? He had very questionable people around him. Holy mackerel. I don't want to name him by name, but just debauchery around him. Instead attacking each other, shouldn't the question be why the FBI establishment, TPUSA, are allowing themselves to be so compromised by the information they're disclosing? Because they're run by idiots. I mean, this is that simple, Mark. Has anyone interviewed Charlie's prior security detail? Go Hoosiers from Granger, Indiana. Go Hoosiers, indeed. I've never been to Granger, but Indiana's amazing. Has anyone interviewed Charlie's prior security detail? They gave a statement one time. And I don't know if anyone has interviewed them. I was trying to think. I don't think I've seen an interview, but I know they gave a statement about what scumbags Brian Harpole and them were. In their opinion. Not my opinion. Their opinion. I heard Brian Harpole was a little litigious. Source, Gemini. Barron transferred to NYU in Washington on September 9th. This move was widely viewed as a security-driven decision to keep him in a more controlled environment than the NYC campus. I don't know, had they started class by then? I mean, that's obviously one day before Charlie Kirk passed away. So I understand the question about it. But was it like, were they starting class the next day? Or, I mean, let's say they started class in August. Yeah, that's weird. But I don't know. Have you watched Wolves of Finance? I did. Yeah. Please watch and discuss. Yeah, like I said, I don't know a ton about it. He gave quite a bit. I know a lot. I mean, I don't know a ton, but I did follow it kind of closely. I did watch it. Okay. I could probably do a show on it. I might cover it. We'll see. Let's see here. I got the FOIA for this sign-in. Can you get a hold of the building number? Yeah, probably. Let's see here. Mitch Snow police report. Let's see if it comes up that way. It's on the police report. You see, I'm kicking it right back to you. It's on the police report. Let me see if I can. I don't want to make you do your own research. I don't see it. I don't see it off the top of my head. It's on the police report. That police report's everywhere. I just don't know how to find it off the top of my head. I don't know how to find it so quickly. This is a Rumble chat here. Might need a couple of mods on Rumble. There are a couple wild ones in here with no home training. Part of me just figured out how to go on Rumble. I got to figure out how to get mods on Rumble. I'm going to work on it. Jessica's Shadow. So thank you for that. Yes, I'm going to work on it. We'll get that done before tomorrow, hopefully. I've got Theo has already offered to do it. So I got to figure out how to get him on there. But congrats on the new wall art back there. Maybe I missed this, but did we ever get a definitive reason on why the Egyptian planes were following Erica Kirk? Were they working for her? Not from me, because I did not invest a ton of time into the Egyptian plane angle. I had this exchange with Jason Goodman, who I love, by the way. I really do enjoy Jason Goodman's content. So please, Jason, understand that me ignoring the drone angle is not me saying it's not a good story, or I'm not interested in it, or I think it's too close to the facts and I'm a limited hangout. None of that. It's just like, I can't cover every angle. Like, I'm neck deep in this Fort Huachuca angle. We covered electrocution. We covered exploding microphones. We covered, every angle. Google Trends, I spent like 6 weeks on. We've covered so many angles that I just don't have it in me to build out a gigantic Egyptian plane spreadsheet and who was where and finding out where Erica was. I just don't have it. I don't have it. I don't have the time. And I'm not a drone expert. Like, I don't know that much about them. So I defer to experts. I was enjoying John Cullen's coverage before he disappeared. I was enjoying Jason Goodman's coverage. And I still am enjoying Jason Goodman's coverage and others. So I defer to them. I defer to them on the Egyptian planes. Candace was doing a good job on those. Ian was doing a good job on Egyptian planes. So I defer to them on that. Just for your knowledge, Fidel Castro only wore Adidas, and Adidas is a Nazi brand. Both brothers, Puma and Adidas creators, served in the Nazi military. Well, I mean, they don't still serve in the Nazi military. That was like 90 years ago. I mean, Hitler took power 93 years ago. It's the greatest, most comfortable sweatshirt that ever existed. The hand pocket, the little kangaroo pocket, perfect placement. Just enough neck that it's comfortable and doesn't pull on you. The shoulders are cut exactly where they need to be for a large hoodie. It's not a heavy hoodie, so it doesn't pull it down. But when you're cold, you can get that bad boy up. It's great. I had it up. I had a hoodie on today at the gym, and it was a little chilly, so I had the hood up while I was biking. I'm not holding that against them. I don't hold 93 years ago. I hold against nobody. Nobody. Because otherwise you couldn't take Bayer aspirin. You couldn't use IBM. You couldn't drive a Ford. I drive a Ford. I take Bayer aspirin. I wear Adidas hoodies. What does all that say about me? I also eat lunch. You know who else ate lunch? That guy. I have a dog. You know who else had a dog? Hitler. Had a dog. So, I mean, do you have a dog? Do you have a dog? Do you eat lunch? I'm told that man ate lunch every day. So you don't need all that. Let's see here. When Cabot denied he was in Fort Huachuca, he's married and his wife is due any day now. He had no choice but deny he was being there with his ex-girlfriend, leaving a hotel together. I mean, but his wife would know he was denying it, right? Because his alibi was he was at home with her. And his alibi was he was at the ultrasound appointment. I did find it a little interesting, if I'm being honest. I have 8 children, so I know a little about this. What does everyone do at the ultrasound? Every single person on earth takes a picture at the ultrasound. Or at least takes a picture of the little sonogram, right? The little gram itself that comes out, the little they print out. Everyone. And what do they have on them? The mother's name and the date. I'm a little weirded out, frankly, that he didn't give us that. Because that would be incredibly telling. That would be incredibly telling about where he was. It would at least be telling about where she was, and we would assume he was with her, or else she's covering for him being out with his ex-girlfriend, which is totally not understandable. So we'll see. It's been raining in Fort Huachuca, Arizona, the last 4 days. Photo shows wet roads. I live in Arizona. The photo does. I never said this photo was taken back in September. I said, oh, look, a photo of rain at Fort Huachuca, where it also rained in September. That's true. At least on multiple weather reports, it's true. Googled Epiphany, or was it Tiffany? No, it's the Feast of the Epiphany. It is the, let's look here. The Feast of the Epiphany. I can't spell because it's late. Let me pull this up on another screen. You guys can read along with me. The Feast of the Epiphany. You guys are going to get a little learning in here. A little religioning for those of you. This is the Feast of the Epiphany. Celebrated on January 6th, marks the revelation of Jesus Christ to the world, primarily commemorating the visit of the Magi to the infant Jesus, symbolizing his divinity revealed to the Gentiles, but also often includes his baptism and the miracle at the wedding at Cana, especially in Eastern traditions. Also called Three Kings Day or Theophany, It concludes the Christmas season with traditions like king cakes, blessing water, chalking doors, gift giving, and varying culturally. So you guys come from a rich tradition, a rich heritage that includes the Feast of the Epiphany. So do something to celebrate. It will be Tuesday. Celebrate the Vigil of Magi. Now, a friend of mine, I got a friend named, he goes by Craig. A friend of mine blew my mind one time telling me who the Magi were. It's right there in the Bible. Everybody acts like they don't know where they came from. No, it's right there. Maybe we'll cover that one day. It blew my mind. I walked around in a daze for like a month. He told me this one day just offhandedly. In such and such so-and-so chapter, it tells you who the Magi were. I was like, no, it doesn't. And then you read it, and I walked around for days. I was like, it's been right there the whole time. I've been telling my kids we don't know where the Magi came from, and they were right. It was right there. And that's how they knew it was Jesus, and that's how they knew the secrets. And that's how they knew to watch for the skies. And that's how they knew what the star would be. Oh, it just blew my mind, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe one day we'll get to that. Maybe one day we'll get to that on this program. Spambo, that's a lot of L-bucks, sir. Or ma'am. Hi, Baron. Managed to catch you live. I'm in England. Great show and reporting as usual. I emailed you about plugging my free mindset rewired coaching for anyone looking to transform their lives. Inspired by Ian Carroll and your humble service. Much love, Sam. I'll check it out. I don't know that I've come across that one yet. It was more than a few days ago. It might be in my marked to read because I'm having my wife mark them, the ones I've read and the ones I need to read. So it might be in my marked to read, meaning I need to get on that. But thank you. I'll take a look at it. And thank you for the very kind and generous donation. Your opening statements are brilliant and obvious. You write them without AI. You should write a book. Also, Erica gives me Tammy Faye Baker vibes. Well, let me see how many. I've done 40 of these openings. Let's say they're 1,500 words each. How many words is that? I'm at 60,000 words. How many pages is 60,000 words? That's 240 pages. I have written a book. I'm forced to sit down and write a book. Maybe that's what I do. I'll get all the transcripts from all the openings and I'll just put a book out. I've always wanted to write a book. I'll call it Jenna Harris, J8C. Thank you. Very kind. Very kind words. Did you see the latest on Charlie's life insurance policy today? I did. Jesse on Fire shared info regarding $50 million policy with $350,000 a year premium paid through Shell Company. Only beneficiary is TPUSA CEO. I saw that. It was strange to me. It wasn't a Jesse on Fire video I watched, though. It was something else. Some guy I hadn't heard of. There were only like 4,000 views. I was surprised it wasn't more widely distributed. It was very well done. I can't remember who that was. I would love to give him credit because he uncovered the whole thing. He uncovered that there was some Wyoming shell company and then it expired and then it like got delisted in Wyoming and they had to go back and reactivate it by a certain date. I mean, it was really a dramatic story. Maybe I'll cover it tomorrow if I can find it again. But yeah, when I saw it, it had like 4,100 views. I was like, how in the hell is this not huge? This seems very interesting to me. Maybe Jesse covered it and now it's got a zillion views. That's what happens. That's how people get noticed. They do good work. Somebody like Jesse picks it up and all of a sudden their go-to name. But yeah, I'll have to check that out. Respectfully, Maduro is the democratically elected president of Venezuela, not a dictator. Jimmy Carter and other independent election observers attested to the validity of that election. Oogie doogie. Oogie doogie. I'm going to let you have that one just because I wasn't there and don't know. But I don't think that's accurate. I don't know. Didn't Venezuela like rig all of our elections? Isn't that what they rigged like 50 elections around the world or something? They all ran through. Here's my thought on that. Everybody keeps saying, we had to invade them, Baron. They were rigging our elections. Well, how about we just don't have elections run out of Venezuela? You know, like, how about we don't let Venezuela sell all their gasoline to our consumers? How about we don't let Venezuela run our elections? Whose idea was it that our election servers should run through Venezuela? You'd have thought they'd have fixed that after the other guy did the sulfur bid at the United Nations. No, if you're going to call our guy the devil, you can't run our elections. Sorry. Looking forward to an Ian show. Me too. Me too. We've talked about it. We just haven't had a date that connects that works for both of us. Glad you're talking to Mitch. My dad was a geography teacher and often entertained us with the test answers. It's bad. Trick question. What continent is south of North America? Antarctica. Just because you said trick question, I would have said South America, and I probably would have been wrong. I don't have a map in here. I pull one up, I guess. Thank you for your donation. I'm going to guess I'm right on that. I'm a good test taker. Watch Behavioral Acts podcast on Erica Kirk with Nicki Minaj. He pointed out how Erica Kirk used swish method on audience at the end, 33 minutes-ish, and he says that's used in hypnotherapy. Possible link to intelligence techniques. Loved your show. I don't even know what the swish method? Swish method? What is that? Neurolinguistic programming technique used to rapidly change unwanted habits or negative thought patterns by mentally swishing an undesirable image with a desired positive one, making the positive image bigger and brighter while shrinking the negative one in a near instantaneous subconscious process, helping reprogram responses to triggers like smoking, nail biting, and anxiety. I gave up anxiety. I would love to give up nail biting. Maybe I'll use the swish method. Is Erica Kirk giving lessons? Can she swish me? Oh, no, I'm married with 8 kids. She can't swish me. I'll have to look into that. I'm not familiar with that. I do know that, like, whoever was sitting around that room that night, like, I got it. Let's bring in Nicki Minaj. You're fired. Like, you're fired. Barron is a longtime, pretty successful poker player. I get the feeling that you and Candace are setting up a brilliant hand. Will Erica Kirk and Brian Harpole it set, or I think you're bluffing or holding the nuts? Well, let's see what kind of hand we're holding here, sir. I've got a drawer full of bikes back there. We'll get these out. We'll see what kind of hand we're holding. If, oh gosh, this one's broken. The little tab that's usually on here is not on here. That's all right. I've got weapons. I've got weapons. We're going to see here what kind of hand we're holding. There's a brand new deck of cards. Never been opened before. I've got to, with my fingernail, cut the label. Pull out the advertisement cards. Pull out the Joker. And let's give it a little shuffle, shall we? A little shuffle. You guys will witness this. We're going to see what kind of hand we're holding. We're going to shuffle. Brand new deck of cards. Nice, crisp deck of cards. We're shuffling. Nobody look. I'm going to show you these are indeed shuffled. Look, they're shuffled. All right, here we go. We're going to cut. Uh-oh, card down. Here we go. Ready? We're going to cut a hand. That's our first card. Boom. 4 diamonds. We're going to get another one. Boom. Ace of clubs. We're going to get another one. Boom. Oh, 5 of clubs. We got the beginning of a wheel going. 2. Oh my gosh. Can I get a 3? Oh, this is great. Oh, I got a pair of 4s. I could beat them with a pair of 4s. I could beat them with a pair of 4s. I never let my kids open new decks of cards, so now they get a new deck to play with. Yes. I enjoy a game of poker. I have fun with it. Have a good time playing. You know who's a great poker player? Is my wife, believe it or not. When I was in law school, we used to go to the casino. She was an excellent card player. In fact, she was so good that when I would go and lose money, she would not. She would bring home the money. And I should have learned right then that obviously she's smarter than I am. You can't BS the woman. She's too smart. I don't remember where I was. So they better not think we're bluffing. We're holding at least a pair of 4s. And I'm guessing we could beat them even if they're holding a better hand. They're not. Look, They're sitting on trash. They've got nothing. It might be crazy, but does the guy involved in the gas deal look like the guy captured in the plane window? Ooh. Could be worth checking because it would make sense, the link between the planes and Charlie Kirk. Guy in the gas deal. What gas deal is he talking about? Talking about Maduro? No, that wasn't Maduro flying in Egyptian planes. What was she talking about? I don't know. I don't know what gas deal you're talking about. I would love to find out. So now we know why Frank was in the back of the Suburban to tell the whole story, coming from a pastor who would not believe it. You know, I have a question about the back of the Suburban, because the Suburban had 3 rows and there were only 5 total people in there and Charlie. And supposedly Charlie was laying across the middle, like the captain's chairs, so the middle row. So why the hell was Frank all the way in the back? Why didn't he get up in the 3rd row where he'd have been nice and cozy, nice and comfortable back there? I never quite understood that. Never quite understood that. But yeah, I don't know why Frank was back there. Baron had to pop in, say congrats on going full time. Big thank you for all the subs, making it possible. Never miss a show. Bless your family and for sharing you with us. Thank you, Aurora Love. Very kind, very generous, and thank you for blessing the show with your presence. You guys, like I said, it takes every one of you guys to make this show work. Every single one of you. Christy Berry, thank you. Look, you don't have to say anything. No, you're not that, Joe. You're a high IQ outfit. Yes, Joe Barker, you are a high IQ outfit. I'm glad. Is there a legitimacy for Gary suing Candace Owens over Mitch and Gary's call being here? I don't know what she would have to do with it. I never understood that. Gary saying he's going to sue Candace for what? Existing? That would be ludicrous. That would be ludicrous. Where's the Rode mic audio after bang? TPUSA should have. I don't know. That's a good question. I've asked that question on the show. They have the Shure SM58. I've not seen the Rode Go 2. The soil needs testing. Yes. No doubt about that. Soil absolutely need testing. RIP to all the $5 and under chats. Time to get a second job. Like a scrub like a specific. Now that's not true. Roll that beautiful beam footage. I read every one. You guys see that I slow down sometimes and read through them. And like the $2 one a second ago, I'll pull it up and read it if it's, but the thing is, if somebody invests $50 in the success of the program, I want to acknowledge them and do that. I watch a lot of shows where they'll get, like Ian gets so many super chats sometimes. He just like starts a lottery. He'll just spin the mouse and then stop. I can't do that. Like I have too much fun doing this. But I understand why he does it. Ian is still to this day one of my very favorite podcasters. There aren't many Ian shows I don't watch. Now I did not watch Ian. To be fair, I did not watch the entire 9-hour super special you did the other day. I clicked around, Ian. I clicked on, I watched 30 minutes. I had to go do some stuff. Then I came back, you were still on. So I watched 45 minutes. I had to run an errand. I come back, you're still on. I get ready to go to bed, he's still on. I'm like, what in the hell is going on over there? 9-hour show he did. 9-hour show. So yeah, it's not RIP to all of them, just some of them. I'm trying to hold the show to 3 hours. And tonight I will probably not, because I'm not quite close to done. Where are you here? We would expect our petrodollar cartel to defend our cartel, just like Maduro, no? The real problem is our lack of integrity exposed now, trust destroyed. Happy Epiphany, go home a different way once the truth is seen. There's not a lot in there I disagree with. Yeah, I think trust is the issue. I think trust and integrity is the issue. Happy Epiphany to you, sir. I think people are saying that because Epiphany was rolled forward to, was it rolled forward this year to Sunday? And so everybody heard Happy Epiphany today, or heard the Epiphany message today at church. But yeah, January 6th is Epiphany, and we encourage you to celebrate in some way. Share it with your children, share it with your family, share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors. Go home a different way. I don't know what that means. You saying I'm in danger? I hope not. For the We Are Huge in the Balkans merch fund. So Huge in the Balkans going to have to be on there. High IQ outfit. Hold please. I think those three are probably the initial volley. I've been taking note on what you guys seem to like. But we are huge in the Balkans. I mean, massive. Just saw your live. My fiance, go upstairs and turn it on, honey. I know I come second to Baron, and I'm okay with it. I'm letting that one go. Thank you for all you do. So appreciative of all your investigative work, humor, and respectful decorum. Well, I make that comment, and then you comment on my respectful decorum. So I apologize, all day coach. I apologize, Mr. All Day Coach. But yes. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Watch on 2 TVs so I get double the credit for YouTube. Watch upstairs, watch downstairs, throw it on in the kitchen. We all got B names too. Benny, Bobby, Jackie B. Well, we have a Baron, and then we actually have a 1 syllable, a 2 syllable, and a 3 syllable B. That's tough in 3 successive generations. In order, 1 syllable, 2 syllable, 3 syllable. So my son with 3 syllable B name is under tremendous pressure to find a 4 syllable B name. I mean, tremendous pressure. And I'm going to fight him. I'm be like, hey. Drugs, oil are the obvious factors. Maduro commissioned the Democrat voting machines. Oh, Dominion. Was it Dominion? Don't know. Don't sue me, Smartmatic and Dominion. I don't know anything about this story. I'm just reading comments. What part does the kidnapping play in getting to the bottom of 2020, do you think, if anything? I'm thinking it helps Maduro get a plea deal when he spills the beans. It certainly would help get a plea deal. I mean, it would certainly help clear up a few things. It would certainly help clear up a few things. Okay, bean footage. You're going to see the $5 and under ones are about to get read. Thank you, Patriot Lady. Very kind donation. Great show, very high IQ. Thank you. Charlie was hit in the neck with a bullet. I don't think that's true. Meant to cover center mass shot from on mic shape charge. I don't think he was shot in the neck with a bullet. And I can't tell. I can't articulate why I'm so confident. It's not that I can't tell you. I'm not holding information back. I can't articulate it. I'm just extremely confident in that. Maybe I'll be foolish and shown up. I've been wrong about things before, but I don't think that. I don't think that's true. I don't think I'm wrong this time. In part, what if Maduro is captured to show and disclose how the election operation works with Dominion and Smartmatic and what fellers are behind it all, in addition to what you described? What could all unravel? Nice work. Congrats. I mean, yeah, if they were right about that the whole time and Maduro did actually have a role in rigging elections, whether Chavez before him or Maduro. But my question is, if he did, why in the world are American elections running through a communist dictator? And I know the person earlier said he was duly elected. I'm calling him a communist dictator. Why are elections running through a communist state? Would we let Fidel Castro or Raul Castro run our elections? Would we let Xi in China run our elections? Why are we letting Hugo Chavez and Nick Maduro run our elections? If that's true. I don't know if it's true. It's so telling something big is coming tomorrow by how excited you are. I am excited. All these podcasters are at each other's throats, and it will be their downfall. You are different and so real. You and Ian are the ones to smile, I guess, or to, I'm not sure what that emoji means. Hey, listen, I have no idea what Candace is going to cover tomorrow. I'm not playing with you. I don't know. But I know what I know. So I don't know what she's going to cover tomorrow, but I know what I know. And I know things. I'm not saying I know what she's going to cover. I'm not saying I know what she has. I'm just saying I have a lot of reasons to sit here smiling. A lot of reasons to sit here smiling. I missed some of the live, sorry. But what does silver play in this whole role? Many countries are gnashing their teeth over silver, strategically important industrial metal. Thus, it's a huge role because there are a lot of banks. This is a good opportunity. I'm glad you asked this question. Because I think I hinted at it earlier, but I didn't really clarify. There are a lot of banks that have shorted silver, and silver has gone on a tear. In fact, I feel bad because my aunt like 3 months ago asked me, should I invest in silver? And I was like, silver's been historically a crappy investment. Don't ever invest in silver. Every so often someone tells you to invest in silver, ignore that person, don't listen to anything else they say. And then sure enough, like it's tripled since then, and I feel terrible. But don't ask me for investment advice. That's the lesson. But yeah, it's on a tear because it's on a short squeeze. There's not enough physical silver to cover all of the shorts. And so these people can't buy it. There's nowhere to buy it from. And they have to take delivery in order to stop the pain, and they can't. And so it's on this absolute tear. Well, it just so happens, I think I read that Maduro is sitting on, or Venezuela is sitting on like thousands of tons of silver, which would be enough to cover all the short losses. It'd be enough to get silver back down to its industrial historical average, which is like in the 20s. Silver in the 80s is not a good investment because it has no practical application in the 80s. The application is industrial, and in order to be valuable, it needs to be like in the 20s. In order for people to want to source it to make their computer equipment or to make whatever it is they make with silver. So, yeah. I bought a little silver back in the day, back when it got into the teens at one point. Someone was like, you should buy some silver. And I bought 40 ounces or something. You throw it in the safety deposit box and just hope one day it turns into $1 trillion. I don't know. Andy Boss, thank you. Very kind. Hold on. There was a question here. Here we go. Last time I sent a super, there were 13,000 watching live. Now 20,000. Wow, man. If anyone deserves it, it's you. We love you, pal. Fight for us little gals. I'm doing my best, Case. I am fighting for little gals, big gals, and all gals in between. And the dudes. All dudes. Big gals, little gals. All shapes and sizes of gals. So I'm doing my best to fight for you. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm fighting so that the big gals will do my tabletop exercises where they stand up and sit down 20 times, 3 times a day. And maybe they'll be little gals. I kid, big gals. I joke. I missed some of the live. Sorry. Oh, you already asked me that. I already saw that. Look at you on multiple platforms. This is because you're awesome and are such a great investigator. We love and support you. Keep going, Max. I'm doing my best, Hoffman. I'm doing my best. Trying. Yeah. Multiple platforms. Oh, let's see here. We need the first merch to be a hoodie with "We don't JoJo, but we Joe." I like that a lot. I don't want to make Joe part of merch. Like Joe can be. Did I tell you I ordered the book? It's going to be right back here between the Odyssey and Theodore Rex. I think I'm going to put it right there. So I can just turn and grab it when stupid people show up, and I gotta correct them. But yeah, no, it's going right there. I ordered the book. Someone gave me $10 to order the book, and the book was like $9.31 or something shipped. So it covered it. It worked great. Baron, I appreciate what you do. Always good info. And you know what? You're even funnier on 2x speed between the fidgeting around, and especially when you did the Eric Kirk Bug-Eye impersonation. I fidget a lot, guys. I have a personality made for radio. I have an affect made for radio. I do this a lot. I do this all the time. People at church probably think I'm like on, the druggies in San Francisco, and they're like leaning over and they're twitching and they look like they're in a Michael Jackson video. People sit behind me at church probably think that, but I'm not on drugs. Mikey McCoy and his wife both had last post on Insta 12/24/24 and didn't post again until 9/22/25. Identical post dates. Yeah, that's a little weird. But I don't know that I can draw anything into that. But that's a little weird, Sharon. But thank you. Very generous donation. Wow. Lambo. I guess when you drive a Lambo, you can afford the big donations. Glad you're going full time. Here's some U-Bucks. And congrats. I called you the new Rush before, and I still mean it. Question, although I trust you. Let's see here. That's Ian Carroll, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. I'm not convinced Charlie Kirk actually said, go Max. Listen again. Doesn't make sense, but it fits our narrative, and I'm all for going max. Your thoughts? I thought he said go max. What did you think he said? I don't know. I'm not challenging you. I'm not calling you an idiot or anything. I don't know. It sounded like it to me, but they did plant that in my head. Maybe if they hadn't said that he said go max, I would have thought he said something else. But here's the other thing too. It fits Tucker's recollection because Tucker said he told him to like go all the way or something, and go max, go all the way. Kind of mean the same thing. So, yes. Roll that beautiful bean footage. Never bought merch from a YouTuber ever, but if you bring a high IQ outfit, hold please, and a Johnny Two-Time pieces, I'll be like flies on doo-doo. Well, I don't know about the Johnny Two-Time, but high IQ outfit and hold please are the two biggest requests I've gotten to date so far. The fourth one was the butterflies, and I can't remember what that one was, but I had like 25 people like, I'll buy one right now. I'm like, okay. I gotta make them first. And I gotta find time. I've had to hire three of my kids and my wife in order to get just through my email inbox and get episodes up on multiple platforms, and someone to figure out how Rumble works. So we're trying. You mentioned a couple of times what Erica was wearing if a pic was out there. Is your memory that great off the cuff? I have a great memory. Steel trap, young lady. Steel trap. You don't have to worry about me. Baron, I look forward to your high IQ live streams. I learn, I laugh, I cry. I'm heavy-hearted when it comes to the state our society is in. Hollyweird and the television programming has created a culture of very ignorant people. Keep it up. Yeah. Someone told me the other day that like turning on a TV is inviting a demon to stand in your living room and talk to your kids. And that put a very interesting spin on. It's one thing if you're in the room and you know what they're listening to, and if you hear something off, you're like, whoa, what are we watching? Let's turn that off. But as soon as you walk out of the room, it like even channels and shows you've watched forever. It's like inviting a demon to stand in your living room. Thank you for that generous donation, Michelle. Very, very kind. Hannah, thank you. Thank you. Zoom in on the Huachuca photo. Thank you, Grace and Lace. Zoom in on the Huachuca photo. You'll see the gas price sign showing $2.49 lines up with pricing on 1.3. Gas was supposedly quite a bit higher in September, according to ChatGPT. ChatGPT lies. It hallucinates. It doesn't know things. The national average of gas was 6% higher in September. I calculated it every way I can figure to calculate it. 6% on $3 is 18 cents, which means if it was $2.49 today, the September price on average would have been about $2.67. You would not have noticed that from a picture. You have no idea what it is. Like the gas where I am, listen to this. If I go get gas at the Shell station down here, I only use Shell. If I go get gas at the Shell station this way from my house, it's like $2.39 right now. This is not a lie or an exaggeration. If I go one exit up the interstate and get gas, it's $3.49. So more than $1 difference. One exit difference. And then if I go 2 or 3 exits, we're like into the mid upper threes. And you think I'm kidding. Come to Middle Tennessee and drive around. Massive discrepancy based on what city you're in. So you can't tell unless you're from Fort Huachuca and you drove by there and took a picture today, which someone might have done. You can't tell when it was. Doesn't change the fact that my post was freaking hilarious. And it got the lefties all at the professional narrative people were all out of shape. Just totally been out of shape. Baron, my mom's a huge fan of yours and watches every show from the Great Smoky Mountains. Yesterday was her 80th birthday. Her name is Nina. It would make her year if you gave her a birthday shout out. Happy 80th, Nina. Happy 80th birthday, Nina. That's a big accomplishment. You're now an octogenarian. Did you know that? You know that's what they're called? Yeah, an octogenarian. Not to be confused with Octomom, even though you're an octo and you're a mom. You're not Octomom. You're an octogenarian. And I know you know what that meant. I'm just messing with you. But congratulations. Big milestone. We could all be so lucky to make 80. That's a nice full life. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have your best year yet. Hope you have your best year yet. I never knew why they called it the Great Smoky Mountains until I drove over there, and it's like they're on fire. I mean, it's just the fog, the way the fog sets in. It just. To complete my thought earlier, I think Charlie Kirk said, "Don't go, Max." Listen again and again. Look at the body language. It doesn't come off as inciting, but rather cautioning. Well, that's interesting because that would change everything if he said, "Don't go, Max." Go, Max. Let me look that up. See if I can find it. Boy, everywhere, every video says Tucker. He told Tucker to go, Max. Let's see if I can just find the raw footage. I'll have to find it. I don't want to watch a 6-minute video to try to find the 2 seconds. I will find that. That's interesting. I hadn't considered that. I had not considered it. Mycenaean Greek horse statue, typically a traditional trinket representing wealth and prosperity. Keep up the great work. Are you talking about the Blue Cheers horse? Mycenaean Greek horse. Okay. Absent Blue Cheer telling me otherwise, I'm going to accept that as fact. I would think that she would know, or he. Blue Cheer might be a he. Blue is the color of boys, by the way. Can I tell us how many likes we're at now? How many likes on what? On YouTube? I can't because I'm not on YouTube. Actually, I can tell right over here. Hang on. Let me reset that. We are at 10,314 likes. Is that what you're asking? I hope that's what you're asking because that's all you're getting. On Rumble, we are at 632 likes. Not nearly as high. You Rumblers need to get active on the like button. Let's see. Oh, if your producer, this is a great question. If your producer, this is the kind of question I really like, suggests you limiting the opening to 10 minutes or under, would you listen? Stay right sized. Are you suggesting my openings are too long? Is this what they call a? You were like, oh, can I ask you a question? I have a question. I don't know. I don't try to make them long. Today shocked me actually. I don't try to make them long. I looked down. I thought I was like at 2 or 3 pages, and I was already at 6 single space pages. And I'm like, I probably need to dial it. That's why it kind of ended sort of abruptly because I felt like I was in it. But there was a lot of information I needed to get out. What do you want me to do on a day like today, Fenton Lawless? What do you want me to do? You want me to not give you a proper education on the Monroe Doctrine and the Roosevelt corollary and the good neighbor policy and the Trump corollary and what the Trump corollary actually is and what the Monroe Doctrine actually is, so that when you go to a cocktail party this week or you go back to the water cooler tomorrow and they're like, oh, yeah, of course we had to invade Venezuela. It's the Trump corollary. And you can say, no, it's actually not the Trump corollary. The Trump corollary is enlist and whatever, support or whatever the 2 words were. Go back and listen or rewind it. But actually, I got it written down right here. I'll tell you exactly what it was. That's actually not what it says. It says, I got to wait for this to unfreeze. Enlist and expand. That's what it actually says. You guys know that. And it's enlist help from your friends and expand their influence. And you want me to not tell you all that? I mean, I guess I could have trimmed a little of the bio of James Monroe, but I think it's important to know kind of who this guy was, that when he comes with a doctrine, people are like, oh, we probably should follow this for the next 200 years or so. If war with Iran happens, I wasn't giving you a hard time. I probably wouldn't listen because I don't listen to a lot of people. If war with Iran happens, the Strait of Hormuz will get shut down. Venezuelan oil will keep gas prices down and U.S. citizens pacified. I don't think so. I don't think so. Here's why I say that. It's not a oil supply for United States. It's a refinement capacity. It's not like we have 3 idle oil refineries sitting on the sidelines waiting to come into action should they be needed. Like, we are refining what we can put through the pipes. There is some small measure of oil, global oil price, obviously, that affects the ultimate gas price. But if they shut down the Strait of Hormuz, it's still going to skyrocket the price, because globally there'll be. It's not like we can take the oil from Venezuela and say, "Well, I understand global oil prices have tripled, but we'll just refine 3 times as much here at home, and it'll keep prices down." That doesn't work that way. It's not the way it works. Oil is not a fungible good, because there's heavy oil, there's light oil, and all that. And from what I understand is Venezuela is a very heavy oil. It's like gooey heavy. It takes a special type of refinery. So you can't even just throw it on the world market and expect it to be refined into gasoline. There are only so many places that can refine that thick, gooey oil. Thanks for your show. Love everything you do. Otherwise, love your show. Thank you for everything you do. Sorry, had that backwards. Well, thank you. Persian stew. If I knew you were an Iranian shill. Yes, you have me. I also love Indian food. So, just in no time, I'll be shilling for the New Delians. Love your delivery, point of view, and especially your love of Christ Jesus. Well, thank you, sir. Go Max, to you. Christ is King. Have a whatever else I can tell you. That's amazing. Yeah, Persian food is phenomenal. Indian food is phenomenal. I like food from that region, that area. I like the way they do the rice dishes. I like the gravies and the stews. I like the meats, the way they season them. I can't help it. I'm hooked. Congrats on the career change. U.S. captured a fake Maduro. Don't know about wife heading on U.S. submarine to Russia or Polynesia. Nike benefits. Adidas soon to release Baron merch. Done with the country. I hope you're not done with the country. I doubt they captured a fake Maduro. That'd be kind of weird. I mean, if you're the fake Maduro, you're going to go to prison? Wouldn't you just get here and be like, I'm not the guy. You got the wrong guy. He's in Russia. Or he's in French Polynesia or something. Finally made a live show. You've done amazing work, and one of a handful I keep up with because I trust you. Your show is very unique and entertaining. It's also 3 hours and 18 minutes long. No question. I just appreciate your content and honesty. Well, thank you, Mickenoyer. Mickenoyer. Is it French? Mickenoyer. Oh, is it French? I'm like scared when I hear about the French now. I'm like, don't approach me with your little Macron. Keep that thing away from me. Thank you for your kind, very kind donation. Oh, she's back. I heard something in what you were saying the other night. Barron's Law, the bigger the conspiracy, the harder to prove it. Blue Cheer, will you please one day tell me what that horse is, please? I know you like to tease. So thank you. Very kind, very generous donation from Mechanoyer and Blue Cheer there. I got a Rumble chat. Jilly Bean, $5. You're awesome. Well, thank you, Jilly Bean. Not a jelly bean, a Jilly Bean. Blessed are the truth tellers. Thank you. As far as Venezuela goes, look up the Isaac Accords. This is an Israel play to control South America, just like the Abraham Accords are their play to control the Middle East. I'll have to look that up because someone was saying Didi Got a Podcast had some map up or something. And I gotta figure that out. Because that's interesting to me. I mean, hold on a second. Let me do something here. Countries with Jewish head of state. I mean, it's not a small number, right? Here we go. List of Jewish heads of state. This is going back to the year 1000. I'm talking about current. Claudia Sheinbaum, Mexico. Gabriel Attal, the Prime Minister of France. Alexander Rosenberg, the Prime Minister of Transnistria. Where the hell is that? Elizabeth Borne, the Prime Minister of France. Mikhail Mishustin, the Prime Minister of Russia. Sophie Wilms, the Prime Minister of Belgium. The president of Latvia. I'm not going to say their name. President of Latvia, president of Panama, president of Ukraine, prime minister of Ukraine. I mean, it's not a small number, you know. The guy from Argentina, didn't he convert? I can't think of his name. But I mean, and that's not to say that you're bad if you're Jewish or whatever. That's not my point. My point is, like, I see why people ask what the hell's going on. Like, you look around, you go, okay, well, you know, that's the old Rob McCoy trick, or Frank Turk. Like, there's a little tiny little group of people. There's almost nobody in this group. Why? And then you look and you say, yeah, but they you know, how'd she get to be the president of Mexico? Why not a Mexican? I mean, is there nobody named Garcia or Hernandez? I'll take a Fernandez, a Perez, any name with a Z, really. Love you, poking Mama Bear about the photos, and your support of Candace Owens' post hasn't gone unnoticed. God bless. Candace is great. No, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I'm a stan. I'm here to the end. You're not going to separate me. Is that a bomb dog? Bomb dog, dollar for the fun. You the man. Crisis King, go Max. That is not a bomb dog. I don't think that's a bomb dog because your dog is in the snow, and I don't think a bomb dog would just be wandering around the snow. That doesn't strike me as bomb dog behavior, ma'am. Thank you, Mary. $100 for the bomb dog. We're up to $360. $360 for the bomb dog. That's incredible. Y'all are gonna give me enough. I'm actually gonna have to go hire a bomb dog. And then it's gonna have been so long by the time I get it, the bomb dog's gonna wander around like, what am I looking for? What's going on here? Why am I on a college campus? All I smell is reefer. What's going on out here? You know? And well, congrats. Very excited you'll be here full time. Many blessings to you and your family. Well, many blessings to you, Infinite Wisdom, and your family. Thank you. Wait, what? There was an audio recording of cop at hospital and dispatcher. He mentions Erica Kirk in an autopsy. Would that be of any concern of his? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Baron, thanks for the step out into the unknown. You're awesome at this. I look forward to your many live shows yet to come. Super sticker. Thank you. That's a nice super sticker. I kid. I am very thankful for every penny, even all 99 of those. Love your show. AKA Ditto to Rush. Do you think any truth to the election fraud theory, voting machine hacks behind the Venezuela invasion? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I just can't. Part of me can't possibly imagine a scenario in which we let Venezuela control our elections. But we are governed by idiots. So who knows? Longtime lurker. One nice thing in today's world is to see the amount of people opening their eyes and becoming truly awakened. Very nice to have someone like you down the roads. From your Protestant brother in Christ, go Vols and Whoa Joe. Whoa Joe indeed, Land Liberty, Tennessee. I'll give you a go Vols. My taxes pay for your school. And yeah. Thank you for all of that. And thank you for the very generous donation and for joining the conversation. Happy to have you part of it. Oh gosh, the D slips into every. Hey, yeah, I don't know if that person did it on purpose or not. That's the only thing. In your opinion, do you think Charlie Kirk had any tangible idea of the threat against him on 9/10, or was he totally caught off guard? Makes me sad to think about it. I pulled this up for one very simple reason. Of course he did. He told Dan Flood, his chief security guard, they're going to try to kill me. Somebody's going to try to kill me. The left, they, whoever. And he told Andrew Colvett they're going to try to kill him. Like in the last 48 hours before he died, allegedly. That's not my opinion. That's what I think I read. I mean, come on. I think he probably thought someone was going to try to kill him. The fact that he walked out into the death zone, I don't know. My goodness, Mark and Shawnee. Wow. Thank you. That's incredible. You guys are just humble, an old host. It did not go unnoticed that none of Maduro's so-called allies did anything to bail his hiney out or protect their interests. For 1,000, I'll say the word. I hope Trump's mission gets I'm kidding about that. I hope Trump's mission gets the evidence of Venezuela's part in 2020 interference. I would love that to happen. You know why? Because I would love every single American to know your votes have been total garbage for the last 35, 40 years. Because I think that's probably true. There's no way Bernie didn't beat Hillary. Somebody counted those wrong. There's no way Trump didn't beat Biden. Somebody counted those wrong. So we'll see. And I'm not sure Bush beat Kerry. Remember, those exit polls seemed to suggest Kerry was going to win. I'm not saying that would have been a better outcome, but I'm just saying it goes both ways. They pick who they want to win. Kerry becomes Secretary of State. He makes lots of money. I'm sure he did all kind of interstate trader deal. Went to Antarctica. What you doing down there, Johnny? What you see, Johnny? John F. Kerry. I want to go to Antarctica, not the like cruise ship that just skirts the outside. I want to go to the South Pole. I want to see the aliens. I want to go to New Schwabenland. I love the Antarctica theories. I want to see the hole in Antarctica. Of all the so-called representatives of the people, Thomas Massey is standing straight up, and we'd see it as urgent to support him, and anyone who has his cojones, out with the rest of them. I will say there are some issues where I don't think anybody does a better job than Thomas Massey. I don't think there's any issue that I don't think there's any person I agree with everything they say. But there are some issues where Thomas Massey is just head and shoulders above everybody. No doubt about it. And Venezuela may be one of them. I have not followed his responses, so thank you. Man, I got to hurry. We're coming up on 3.5 hours. Barnes & Noble is also owned by Elliott Management. Interesting. Why is that interesting? I got back together with my wife at a Barnes & Noble parking lot. Happy New Baron. Great opening statement. Once again, Tom Luongo, interview with Crypto Rush Politics this morning, gave incredible history and insight on Venezuela. Also, E.M. Burlingame yesterday. Really fascinating take. I did not check either of those out, actually. But the Tom Luongo one sounds interesting to me. I don't know who E.M. Burlingame is. Am I supposed to know that name? Am I revealing I'm a Philistine? I saw this. I saw this. Anyone analyze pictures of the crowd from Charlie's left? There's someone in a black cap with long blonde hair looks like Erica Kirk. I saw that image, and I'll be honest, when she got up and started running, she looked more like Erica Kirk, not less. But she had insanely short shorts on. And I just don't see Erica wearing those. But maybe we got an option here for helping moderate Rumble. If anyone wants to help moderate Rumble, let me know. I'll be happy to put you on over there. I got to figure out how. I barely got this thing up and running in time today. Like I thought I wasn't going to make it. I opened the stream hours early, but I still did not know how to go live yet. I was in here frantically looking at how to go live in the minutes before I. How to get the stream, because I had the stream reserved and you guys were chatting on it, and I even jumped on and chatted on it for a little bit. But then thank you, Bad Girl Bex. I see that you're saying you'll mod the place. I will try to remember how to get all that done. Oh, we got the building number. 70525. Euphoria people, 70525. It is the whatever the name of that building was I gave you earlier. I got to get out of here. It's 3:30. 3.5 hours. Gary and Valhalla are experts in ballistics and did great with a 30-06. But since it moved beyond that, they are trying to stay relevant, but struggling to do so, i.e. Gary having back-to-back botches. Did they do the frangible round test yet? I admittedly, I got bogged down the last couple of days and haven't watched. Gary's having a tough go. I still am not ruling Gary out for the long run. I think he can get back because I used to like Gary until Gary started coming after me for the Google Trend stuff. I'm like, what did I do to you? But he can come back. Gary can make it back. Absolutely love your opening statements, but today's rocked. Incredibly informative. Please let me know how I can get a copy. Put them up for sale, make an extra buck. Well, right now, the best way to get a copy is to when the show goes up on YouTube and the transcript is produced, it takes a few hours. But when you can rip it. I have my written copy, but I will say this. I write so fast. I type very, very fast. I had somebody make a comment when they saw me typing not terribly long ago. Like, oh, how many words a minute you type? I type very fast. Apparently, my grandmother was a very fast typer, and I must have inherited from her. But I type so fast and I just vomit as I'm going that I make mistakes, and I don't always go back and correct them. And so I correct them on the fly. You'll hear me mispronounce words or say the wrong word, and then I'll go back and correct it because that's a word that I put in there wrong. And so I'm not sure how helpful that would be if I just sent you my Word document, but I do it on a Word document every time. I just start vomiting it out. I usually have an opening sentence I want. It starts with the opening sentence. I'm not one of those people that writes from the middle. I know there are people like that. They write speeches from the middle. They have a money line they want to deliver, and they just write it down, and then they kind of build a speech around it. I have an opening line. And I'll start thinking about it tonight for tomorrow's. How do I want to open? How do I want to open? And when I come up with the opening, then I can go. And I can just go for hours at that point. So excited for your new venture. West Kentucky girl here. Fellow fitness enthusiast, left corporate banking to eventually open my own gym and have no regrets. Thank you for following your heart. Go Max. Laura Kelly, thank you for the kind words. Best of luck to you on your success at your gym. And I think I found you online. You're not hard to find. I don't want to dox you, but you're not hard to find. But yeah, so best of luck to you. Western Kentucky, I'm not too far from it. I was actually at Western Kentucky University not terribly long ago. So I've been in the area. So thank you. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for the kind words. Going back to John Toon tomorrow. Just talked to AV Security on phone for the schedule. All is a go. Look for my email, please. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed indeed, 22 Cream 90. I hope I gave you all the information you needed by email. I think you're the one I've been emailing with. If not, there's someone may be joining you tomorrow. You may have company. Lady Peach, I think Trump knows Venezuela's gonna go Bay of Pigs. Then he be used to impeach him. That's why he's doing them. Wait, what? I think Trump knows Venezuela is going to go Bay of Pigs, then be used to impeach him. That's why he's doing the most for Israel, i.e. named Prince of Peace. He will go there after to do the trumping of Gaza. Love your show, Mr. Wiggles. Well, thank you, Lady Peach. All kind words. I don't know about the predictions. I hadn't considered the fact that a failed Venezuelan invasion would be used against him. But thank you. Hey, Baron, here are the building numbers for the police report. 75025, 70525. So it looks like the 5 and 0 may have been transposed one of the two times. And you're saying use them both. So I think if you're doing a FOIA request, say, we've been given two numbers for this building. Here's the title of the building. Here's the name of the building. I gave you that earlier. Here's the unit that's occupying the building, we believe. And here are the two numbers we've been given, 75025 and 70525. Make FOIA requests easy on the people. Linda Rothschild, not the Rothschild banking family. She made that clear before. Story about Venezuela is informative. We as Americans need to know. So I so appreciate you. Thank you for broadcasting full time. I'll be watching. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching full time. I guess I can't shame you guys into liking because there's more people on the video than have liked the program. We're still at 11,004 likes, and there are 16,300 of you hanging in here for hour 4. Sorry. I'm trying to get through these as fast as I can. You got to be honest to be so transparent. Thanks, Baron. I'm trying to be honest and transparent. Take sponsorships. Your audience wants you to benefit from all your hard work. God bless you and your family. I've thought about it, and I'm talking to a couple of outfits that I agree with, and that I think wouldn't pose a problem. But one thing I've been clear with everybody who's asked is you cannot tell me what to say or not say. Like I'm going to be me. You now have a good enough sampling that you know what you're going to get. You know kind of what my thoughts are on the major hot button political issues of the day. So don't think that you can change. Don't be like the crazy girlfriend who thinks she can change me. Can't change me. Not that crazy. You know what I mean. It's a metaphor, people. It's a metaphor. Sir, your opening statements rival that of Paul Harvey's rest of the story. Always entertaining. Thank you. Well, thank you. Wake up. That reminds me of that wake up. Wake up. That there's some song. I can't remember who sings it. Anyway, it starts with Wake Up. It's really loud and fun song. Baron, the comment about Adidas was because you said it was not a dictator's brand. Well, not anymore. That dictator's been dead since the 70s in Argentina or Brazil. I like the Nazi on various points. Well, I think you're on the wrong show. That show comes on Rumble later. I don't think this is the show you're looking for. They didn't drink alcohol. Okay. So we're talking about their alcohol. Yeah, they didn't. I don't think they drink alcohol. We're vegetarians, created the first laws on animal protection, the VW bug. Yeah, I mean, the bug's a fine automobile. But honestly, lead with the bug and not with the I like the Nazis on various points. Like kind of say like, the bug was nice, and the interstate system has been a great profit to the United States of America. And for those reasons, there have been worse people on the. I don't know. I mean, it's so hard. But be careful out there. Like, it's a wild world out there, Sergi Superboy, Super Baby. You can't just stay like. Wait a minute. Where's the R money from? That might explain it. R currency. Where's that? What currency is R? South African rand. Well, that kind of explains it. I mean, if we're being honest. I apologize. This makes so much more sense in context. Once we add the South African component, now I go, oh, okay. Like, y'all are fighting for your lives out there. I get it now. I get it. Boo, don't ever say our mind is in the gutter again. You've been 10 feet below the gutter all night after that last summer. And the women eat it up. Need to start my own podcast at this point. Roll that beautiful beat. My mind is not in the gutter. It's certainly not below the gutter. It might be in the gutter, but it's not below the gutter. Let's be honest. This is a good four-syllable name. Bartholomew. I think it's the only one. Congratulations with the huge success of your show. You're brilliant. Thoroughly enjoy the show. Now I'm just waiting for that pick to drop of Erica Kirk at Fort Huachuca. Hey, listen, all I can tell you is let's be patient. Let's let the story develop. Let's see what's out there. Let's hear the news. We'll all tune into Candace to see how she's doing. I cannot be more serious about this. I don't mean to put pressure. I have no idea what she's going to talk about. I'm just telling you, like, I know the global information that exists in the world. I have no idea what she has or what she's going to talk about. So I don't mean to overdo it, but I think the news will get fun at some point. I don't know when it'll get fun, but it's going to be very fun at some point. I believe the gunshot was played through the sound system, triggering the shaped charge and possibly a taser. They wanted to be sure Charlie was dead and still have an unknown patsy. That's a good theory, as good as any. The dog fund. I thought it was a bomb fund. I was like, no. That's also the wrong channel. I don't know if there's a Rumble show on bombs, but that would be the wrong channel. The bomb dog. Yes, we'll do the bomb dog. Yeah, we're up to 380. 380 on the bomb dog fund. Appreciate your your humor, excuse me. No, honesty, humor, and intellect. Thanks. Well, thank you, 33x2. 33x2. Thank you. Thank you for the generous donation as well. Before the end of January, you think I'll hit 200,000? Watching in Scotland? Now, I will admit, dude, there's something about the Scottish accent I love. Like, men, women, they could be talking about humor. They could be talking about something serious. Like, there's something about that accent. I'll listen to them read a phone book. So, Linda Bryan, just know your accent is amazing. And I don't even know who you are. What did I... Nothing. You missed nothing. We're here on hour 4, and you've missed nothing. Let's see. We're getting close. Now I really want We Don't JoJo, but we Joe comedy. I mean, it's a cool idea. It's a cool hoodie concept. It's a cool idea. It's not that Venezuela controlled our elections. It's that the machines were first commissioned and used by Maduro. Then the U.S. bought the machines. In other words, he knows. He used them to rig his own. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying he built machines capable of being rigged so that he could win his election. And then the U.S. goes, ooh, we could use some of those. And so they went and bought some and placed them at strategic points around Ohio and Pennsylvania and Florida and Virginia. I get it. Yes. Interesting. See, I don't even know the theory. That's how out of it I am on some of this stuff. My husband was a dog trainer in the Army. This is a good comment. For 18 years. He says, if the place Charlie Kirk was shot was paved over, a dog will not be able to detect anything. You'd be wasting your money. Hope this helps. I don't think he was shot. That's the problem. It's not about being shot, Judy. It's about bomb dogs. Not shot dogs. Bomb dogs. Different dog. Different dog altogether. I have a question about the Charlie Kirk necklaces. When Candace Owens said she watched the video of him being shot from Homeboy, who stole the memory card, she said she saw the necklace fly off. Then in the episode about the plastic pieces in the vehicle, and Frank Turk said he was, is there a continuation here? Can I be honest for a second? I don't know if I'm supposed to say this. I've seen that video from behind. I can confirm there's no blood. I can confirm the necklace comes off. I think that video, in my opinion, might challenge the neck cavitation. And it looks to me to be selectively cropped. If I'm seeing the same video. I think he's shown it to multiple people. Or he's not the only one that has a copy of it. But yeah, anyway. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. Earlier time for 3:30 a.m. For Irish. Earlier time for Irish, 3:30 a.m. plus. By the way, Erica on record mentioned just got St. Michael's medal for Charlie due to her increased worrying, more inconvenient hypocrisy. Through saints unique to us, Roman Catholic and Orthodox Christians, evangelist bombs. Yeah, so let me back up on the medal first. I don't remember when she said she got the medal, the St. Michael medal, but I've not ruled out that something in that necklace generated a propulsion that caused a wound in Charlie's neck. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's something that was tied to, I don't know. I do not know the answer to that, but it seems to me that the necklace generates a tremendous amount of speed up, maybe even enough speed to damage the shirt if you look closely. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I was really thinking through something there. Yeah. I don't know. He was talking about the bomb dogs. That's the dogs he trained. That's exactly right. Bomb dogs. Not the other dogs. Bomb dogs. All right, guys. I got to run. It's almost been 4 hours. 3 hours and 45 minutes. You guys have been amazing. You're always amazing. We're going to be back tomorrow night. Either 6 or 7. I haven't decided which. Maybe even a little earlier for our European friends. But we'll be back one way or the other. Thank you. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for liking the video. That helps us, pushes up the YouTube algorithm, continues the reach of the video for the next couple of days. So go ahead and like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. That will allow you the opportunity to be a more permanent part of the program. It also helps because the more subscriptions we have, the more people see the video in their algorithm. It gets suggested to them. Share the video with your friends and family. Just let them know. Say, hey, this guy, check out timestamp 20 minutes or whatever. I say something you like, share it with somebody. They might turn into a regular viewer, and that helps the program as well. And finally, click that notification button. That will let you know when I go live. It should let you know when I go live. I get a lot of complaints that the notification doesn't always let people know. And I know that to be true because I subscribe to many programs and I don't always get notified when they go live. I think YouTube does the best they can. You Rumblers, thank you. You look like you've been having fun over there. I've been watching your chat roll all night. And if you have any questions, email me, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. My wife or I will check those, realbaronpodcast or at gmail.com. This will be uploaded on Spotify and X before terribly long. It's obviously on Rumble now. And gosh, I can't think of anything else I need to tell you. Oh, I can think of something. I know one thing. Jesus loves you.